It means that we punched our ticket to go try to win the Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Saturday Night Lights. I'm your host, Tommy, to the high degree to the TOP from the 313. And yes, I did say Saturday Night Lights. Normally it's Friday Night Lights, but Tommy wasn't feeling good yesterday, so Tommy had to take the night off. But I am here on a Saturday night, because why not, right? Missed yesterday, disappointed you guys, but tonight we got a good show ahead of us. Let me put some background music. There we go. Let's see here. Mark's in the building. How you doing, Mark? Go Bills. Damn right, go Bills. And let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. As you guys know, the Buffalo, or maybe you don't know, the Buffalo Bills have changed their Wall of Fame to the Family Circle, going into the new Highmark Stadium. The Family Circle, also known as the Bills Wall of Fame, and that will not, I repeat, that will not include O.J. Simpson. They have written him off the Bills Wall of Fame, known as the Family Circle. Now, look, man, I'm not going to lose any sleep over this, over O.J. not being on their Family Circle, but I think it's kind of, I don't agree with it. I listen, and I'm not going to knock anyone that does agree with it, but I feel like the Bills changed the name to basically like, push OJ out in a way where it's acceptable, if that makes any sense. Like, all right, you know what? Let's change the name to the Bills Wall of Fame, from the Bills Wall of Fame to the Family Circle, because only the good people, like on and off the field, should be in our family. Like, it's listen, I'd rather them just kept the name, the Wall of Fame, because that's what it is, and just say you don't want OJ on there. Right, for one, like, you don't need to go and change the name to the Family Circle. Nobody cares about that name. It doesn't make sense. I don't like it. It's really stupid, right? Like, I get it. You're going into a new stadium. You want to do, like, new things and all that. And I'm cool with that. But the Family Circle, like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just dumb. And going back to OJ, listen. The dude's never going to get out of the Hall of Fame, right? He is a Hall of Fame player. The Hall of Fame, how they look at players, is it doesn't matter what you did off the field. It's about what you did on the field, your achievements as a player. Because trust me, there's a ton of players that are in the Hall of Fame that if you go through their career or off-field stuff, I'm sure they have a lot of baggage, right? Now, look, I know OJ's is bad, about as bad as you can get. I get that. I'm not even defending his actions or anything like that. But they're not showing love for what he did off the field. They're showing love and appreciation for what he did for the game of football. And if we're going to be real, as Bills fans, now mind you, I wasn't around in the 70s watching Bills, right? I started watching in 89. However, O.J. Simpson is a big reason why the Buffalo Bills, became kind of a household name in a way, right? O.J. Simpson kind of put the Buffalo Bills on the map. Let's be real, in the 70s, right? If it wasn't for O.J., who knows if the team survives out of that? I'm just saying, they weren't very good. O.J. Simpson comes along, and he had a little stretch there where he was amazing. Amazing. 2,000 yards in 14 games. I mean, once again, he's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. And for the Buffalo Bills to try to kind of like sneakily change the name to Bills Wall of Fame to the family circle and go, hey, like this is, it gives us justification on why we don't want O.J. Simpson in this family circle. So the quote from the guy that's running this, excuse me if I don't know the guy's name here, the Bill COO, Pete Guelli, he says, we have made an organizational decision that he is not a fit to display inside our new stadium and family circle. The family circle will be a plaza outside the entrance to the stadium, which will include plaques honoring the 31, soon 30 members of the Wall of Fame. So first of all, they don't even mention anyone new to this family circle. So I got a couple things it's crazy to me. So you take off one, which once again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But you don't add anybody? How about Eric Moulds, who should have been on the Wall of Fame years ago? So you take off OJ, and I hear nothing about Eric Moulds going into the family circle. Is he not good enough for the family circle? Does he have stuff you don't like either? He's not good. He's not like all field stuff, So tell me what do they expect? What do they want? What is deserving to be? What do you got to do to be on the Bills now family circle? I don't get it. I don't get it. Once again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I think the Eric Moulds thing might bother me more than the OJ thing. It's just the OJ thing doesn't make sense is all. That's all I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense. Keep the goddamn Bills Wall of Fame. You don't need to rename it. And just say, hey, we want to distance ourselves from a guy who did terrible things. Fine, I'll live with that. But don't go changing the name, and then it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And you kept him on the fucking Wall of Fame all the way up until this point, and now you want to do the right thing? Like, what? It makes no sense. Let me get to some of the chat real quick because I don't want to get too far behind. We got a full show today. We got a full show. Once again, this is the brutal part of the offseason. This is the worst part of the offseason, guys. So I'm just kind of pulling at things, finding things that we could talk about to make a good 2-hour show. And I did find some cool articles and stuff like that we'll go through, and we'll make it a full show, okay? And by the way, tomorrow I am live for the part 2 of Down and Drought 2014 season of the Buffalo Bills 2014. So tune in tomorrow at 1. I already scheduled it. Just hit the notification bell. You know when I go live. Mark, happy Saturday, Tommy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so real quick on my situation, in case you guys want to know, or some don't want to know, some don't give a shit. But for those that do care, I'm going to put it up real quick. They're on the top, I guess left or right. I don't know where that is, but there's a barcode there. That's for my GoFundMe. As you guys know, and I'll make this real brief. Been living in a house, renting a house here in Michigan for the last 9 years. Since 2017, I moved in of September. And the owner's a good dude, but for whatever reason, he decided to sell the house kind of abruptly. And my lease ended at the end of August. So he told me in mid-May, and the house sold basically the third week of May. So the new owner does not want to rent the home. He wants to do whatever. So I had 3 months to find a place for me and my dog, Princess. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a bigger dog, especially a pit bull mix, looks like a pit bull, it is very difficult to find a place to rent and also be in your budget, right? That's somewhat affordable. And that was one of my dilemmas. And the other is just coming up with all this money in such a short period of time and continue to pay other bills that I have. So I was and I still am in a tough spot. And first time in my life that I actually need help getting up off the floor. I need help. And, I started a GoFundMe. And people have been donating. So I appreciate everybody has donated so far that, even the ones that haven't, that sent me their thoughts and prayers, that shared the GoFundMe. But if you guys want to help me out, donate, the barcode's up there, or there's a link on my YouTube channel as well. So, but if not, just send your thoughts and prayers for me and Princess. There is good news. I did find a place that is going to allow me and Princess to move. That's in my budget. Now I just got to come up with moving costs and deposit and all that good stuff. But it's going in the right direction, guys. So hopefully, if everything goes right, I will be moving into the new home on August 1st. So, once I get in there, I'm good to go, guys. And, hopefully things turn around, better for me. And, I can put my head up again and start living a normal life. But right now it's a little chaotic for me, man. So and I think that's why yesterday I didn't go live, guys. I was just, just a little mentally and physically drained, man, by everything that's kind of going on, man. So anyway, sorry, that was long-winded. Let me get back to the comments. So that's how I'm doing. And everybody else. Sandra, right up, Tommy, to the TOP and everyone else in the chat. That's right. Roy in the house. Personally, I'm glad they left him off. See, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not knocking anybody that feels like he shouldn't be in the Wall of Fame family circle now that they call it. I don't get it. Like, I just don't. I personally think he belongs on it because you're the Wall of Fame for the Bills is just like would be for the Hall of Fame for the NFL. It's just they're acknowledging greatness for players that have played for their team. It's not acknowledging the great things they did off field, because if that's the case, then there's a lot of really good dudes that came through Buffalo that weren't great as far as stats go, right? And what they did on the field. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to start doing that, then let's just go ahead and start filling up the family circle, because there's a ton of guys that came through. I mean, might as well put Ryan Fitzpatrick on the family circle. He's a great guy. So, you know what I mean? What are we doing here? Like that's all I'm saying. Keep it the Bills Wall of Fame, but they're not going to do that because they want to do everything different now in the new stadium. They should have just kept it the Bills Wall of Fame. Just said, hey, we really don't feel like, we want O.J. Simpson on the Bills Hall of Fame. We want to kind of distance ourselves. And fine. It is what I wouldn't agree with it, but you didn't need to go out and change the name. And then, like I said, once again, you're leaving players off it still that deserve to be on it. Eric Moulds. So, I mean, I don't get it. I remember O.J. played at the Rock Pile in Jefferson. All right, Sandra. Glove didn't fit. Leaving him off was the right move, Tommy. Once again, I think I'm not mad at anyone that feels like it's the right decision to keep him off. I just don't. I think, with them trying to change a name, it's just stupid. I just don't agree with it. I personally believe he still belongs in it. But it is what it is, man. Family circle. It's just a stupid thing. It's lame, Mark. The family circle. What the fuck is that? It's just dumb. Hey guys, you guys want to go visit the family circle? Sounds like a fucking gas station. guys got to run into the family circle real quick. Go get a beer. Family circle. OJ should be there just as a football player. Exactly. He's not the greatest Bills football player ever. I would think that for me, that would be Bruce Smith. But OJ, if we're going to be real, I mean, top 5, right? Greatest Bills player ever. He's up there. If he's not top 5, he's damn close to it. He's for sure top 10, right? I don't think anybody can say he's not, but I don't know. I like I said, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but changing the name is stupid. Let's be real, guys. And if you're going to take them off, once again, what is the big deal about not adding certain players that deserve? By the way, okay, one, Eric Moulds, for sure. I don't think anybody would argue the fact that he isn't deserving. He's deserving to be there. That's one. Two, if this is about what you did for the team on the field and off the field, like now you're we want just good guy. You got to be a good guy too. Then you need to put Fred Jackson. You need to put Kyle Williams on there. So both those guys, did good in Buffalo, right? Stats wise, and they were good dudes off the field, right? So what about those guys? You know what I mean? Like if this is where they're going, then why are you leaving players out? Now, once again, I don't know. It's not up yet, so maybe they do add Eric Moulds. Maybe they do add Fred Jackson, Kyle Williams, but let's hope it doesn't get to a point where they're adding like Ryan Fitzpatrick. And no offense to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Love Fitzmagic, right? Good dude. Goes to the Buffalo Bills games, represents Buffalo, but on field, like, he's all right. You know what I'm saying? Eric Moulds should be there as well. Not sure who the morons are running the decisions. I have no idea. But yet they want these players to run, on game days, like certain, games where they have a Bills legend run the team out onto the field. So they have no problem calling Eric Moulds and be like, hey, you want to, Bills legend, you want to run the team out onto the field? But yet they don't want to put him on their family circle. What? Oh, my God. Weston in the house. That's right. Believe in Bean Island. Damn right. Let's see here. Bills fan, I care. I appreciate you, bro. I'm broke. Join the club. Ruben Brown hopefully will be on the family circle someday. Ruben Brown. Hey, Roy, that is a great one, actually. Didn't even think about Ruben Brown. Ruben Brown on the team for a long time. One of the best to do it. Why isn't he on the family circle? Fucking family circle. Oh my God. I can't, like, it's kind of like the name Highmark Stadium. I mean, it is what it is now. You know what I mean? We are going into new stadium, whatever. It's the Highmark. But when they changed the name, when it was the Ralph and the Rich that you got used to, and I get it. It's most stadiums are doing that now, but it was tough for me to call it Highmark for the forever. You know, now I don't give a shit because now it's a brand new stadium. It is what it is. It has nothing to do with really with the Ralph, the Rich Stadium. But family circle, I don't know. I can't get. It's still the Wall of Fame. It's the Bills Wall of Fame. Stop with this stuff, man. This. I don't even get the direction they're going with that. The name, family circle. What? I should be then on the goddamn family circle. I've been watching the goddamn team since '89. I went through 4 Super Bowl losses. I went through the 17-year drought. I covered the goddamn team and all the playoff losses under Sean McDermott. And I still love this team. Why am I not in the goddamn family circle? Tommy, right there, family circle. Mafia Sports Report. Come on, man. Put me in, man. Weston, Tommy can get a new podcast studio, baby. You can put BB posters. You know what? Just to piss off all the bean haters out there, I could. And I know how to do it. I could make a poster like I did the Madden one of Josh Allen and create a Believe in Bean Island poster and put that bitch right behind, put it on the wall. It really pissed people off this year because you know damn well I'll be getting comments about the Believe in Bean Island poster I got behind me. Your family, Tommy, well wishes and prayers to you. I know anyone that can will hang in tough, my man. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you, brother. Roy, in my opinion, you can separate what he did off the field with what he accomplished on the field, keeping in mind what the off-field stuff was. No, I get it. Like I said, I understand. I get the argument. Like, I get the debate, right? Like, I'm not bashing anyone that feels like, you know, he shouldn't be in this family circle thing that they're calling it now. I don't get why they had to do the name change just to basically say, hey, this is a family thing now, so we don't want OJ part of it, of the family. Before, though, the Bills Wall of Fame, it was a different name, the Bills Wall of Fame. Now we're changing it to the family circle, and hey, we can't have that kind of family in the family circle. I mean, that's how I see it. Maybe I'm seeing it differently, but it just comes off like that. Like, dude, there's no reason to go all that, to do all that just to kick OG out. Just kick him out. Keep the goddamn Bills Wall of Fame. We don't need to change the goddamn name and to, like, confuse people. Like, what the fuck? Taking my kid, like, let's say you got a kid. Hey, you want to go see the family circle? Like, he's not gonna. Bills Wall of Fame sounds like, oh shit, I know what the fucking NFL Hall of Fame. The Bills Wall of Fame, that must be great Bills players. What the fuck is a family circle? Once again, it sounds like a convenience store up the street. It's just so fucking dumb. I don't get it. Jeremy, Family Circle was a comic in the newspaper when I was. Yes, you're right. I forgot about that. Remember that comic? Do they even have comic strips in the newspaper? I mean, I haven't gotten a newspaper in years. But you're right. Family Circle. They had the big dog, right? They had a big ass, like, what kind of dog was that? Marmaduke, right? Was that his name, Marmaduke, or am I thinking something different? I can swear they had a huge, like, Great Dane in that comic. Family Circle is lame. Fuck, right? I'm glad that at least you guys agree with a couple of the things. One, the fucking name is retarded. Sorry, I put that word. Probably shouldn't use that. Censor me there. It's idiotic. it doesn't make sense. And yes, Eric should be in there. But once again, what are we talking about now? What is this family circle thing really about? Like you went through this great length of changing the name. Is it now we're just going to put just great people that are part of the Bills family? Then there is a lot of people, including myself, that should be in the goddamn family circle. Including you guys. Scott Blakely, you should be in the family circle. You've been watching longer than me. Oh, my God. Roy, Jeffy and BJ were characters from that cartoon strip, I remember. I don't remember the characters. I think there was like a Dennis the Menace looking kid on there. Oh, my God. Let's see here. Darren Mills in the house. Tommy, let's go Bills. Why they got to shit on the juice? Sure, Jim Kelly is in the family circus. Oh, sorry, circle. Yeah. I don't get it. Like, once again, I mean, I understand they're trying to distance themselves, but here's the harsh reality. When the name O.J. Simpson is said, he's a Buffalo Bill. It doesn't matter if you don't put him on the Wall of Fame. Sorry, the family circle. People always will know O.J. Simpson as a Buffalo Bill, not a San Francisco 49er. They will remember him playing for the Buffalo Bills because that's what people know him as. And they know him also as a NFL Hall of Famer who played for who? The Buffalo Bills. Nobody mentions the goddamn 49ers. So they can try to distance themselves all they want by taking his name off their family circle, but it doesn't matter. He will forever be a Buffalo Bill. We all know this. So it just, for me, it just doesn't make sense. And if you were going to do that, no offense, should have done it years ago because it wouldn't even be a topic today. You know what I mean? If they would have just done it years ago, if it mattered that bad, like oh my God, like, oh, we can't have this guy representing the Bills, right? Let's just take him off the Wall of Fame. I don't think at that, there might have been some people going, oh man, but dude, that was years ago. How long ago was that? A long ass time. Oh, now you decided to do it, and then you had to go out and change the fucking name from the Wall of Fame to the family circle. Get the fuck out. Well, let me see if here's my classic clip here. Let's see.
Get the fuck out of here.
See, the more you say family circle, the more fucking moronic it sounds. Marmaduke was also a strip. Okay, but separate. Okay. Yeah, tell me. Come on, man. Like, it's a fucking dumb name. Roy, my father used to call he who won't be mentioned a gazelle. I love watching him play when the fucking attendant was in the right place, but now sounds like a bad porn. Right, family circus. Oh my God, the family jerk circle. Oh, good Lord. It sounds almost like honestly, it does sound. For me, it sounds more like a convenience store that I would quick run into. You know what I mean? Like I'm off to get like a 6-pack from Family Circle. I'll be right back. Like, oh man, it's so stupid, man. Like, I'll be honest with you too. Like, look, the buffalo that they're getting, the 3 bisons or whatever. Now, I'll probably eventually, like, once they're up and I see them at night and all that, I'm sure eventually I'm gonna like get used to them and think and maybe change my opinion and like them. But did you have to go so artsy with you? Kind of like not everything needs to be like artsy and new age. Like it didn't. I get we're in a new stadium. I get all that, but did you have to go with this funky looking, weird shaped but artsy Buffalo? Like, is Buffalo even an artsy town? It's not. So, like, stupid things like that. It's just like I don't understand it. I really don't get the direction. And then you change the wall of fame, the family circle, and I don't know. I don't know, man. Family circle sounds so fucking lame. Maybe you change it, the name, because it's no longer in the stadium itself. I guess, but for me, I'd rather have them kept the names on like how they did inside the stadium. Because when you like, for instance, when you go to a lot of stadiums, we go to a basketball stadium, they got rafters hanging of like retired players, right? Like that's the whole cool part of it. Like you're in the stadium, you sit down, right? You're seeing all these legends that, from the rafters or from the from the wall or whatever. You telling me they couldn't have put their names inside the stadium, like the Bills Wall of Fame, where, damn, you go inside, like they're there. It's outside. Is that what they're saying? It's outside now, the building, a family circle. No, bro, like, people will go to that thing the very first time they go to that stadium. After that, though, nobody's going to care to go to the family circle part on the outside of the stadium if they've already been there. For me, if you go there, it's just a cooler feeling, like seeing this in the stadium. I don't know, like see, like the little stuff like that. Like, did you need to do that? Let's see here. Only thing, the juice, and with the yardage. I don't know what that means. Unalive was the yardage. Nomad Chat, excited about the new look Bills for 2026. Hopefully the change will help. Josh Allen gets this team over the finish one of these next 4 to 5 seasons. Yeah, man, that's obviously the goal, right? Is to get a Lombardi here in Buffalo, and I feel like they're heading in the right direction, especially after the coaching change, which is honestly a little bit, not too late. I mean, luckily, Josh Allen's still in his prime, still has about, like you said, a good 4 to 5 seasons left. More, with his age, he's in his 30s now. He's 30 years old. So, yeah, I mean, let's just hope this new coaching staff, which I believe in, gets the job done, unlike the guy that was here before and Coach McDermott. See here. Hey, the most interesting man in the chat is in the building. Hello, Tommy and everyone. I was on Home and Garden. Wow, okay. Show live at the new studio in Indianapolis for my brand new original song. It's on the website. Check it out. It's called America 250. All right. I keep forgetting. It's on Spotify. I'll check it out. America 250. There you go. See, the most interesting man in the chat. Always up to something. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw this. I gotta play this because this is funny as shit, man. So the governor, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the governor of New York, and I don't know this lady too well because I don't live in New York, but Kathy Hochul. All right, Kathy Hochul. That's what she did at the ribbon ceremony, the cutting ceremony here. I'll play it real quick. So cheesy.
All right, let's get this party started. Let's go. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. All right, seriously? All right, let's get this party started. Let's go.
So bad.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. All right, seriously?
Oh, my God. Oh, I can't take it. Oh, let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. The fans are like, yo, or anyone's there like, oh, this is so bad. So cringe. This is cringe. But yeah, that was bad. Oh, fuck, I'm glad I wasn't there. I know nothing about this woman. I just know she's the governor of New York. And I just know it was really cringe, really cheesy. And hopefully that's her last visit to a Bills game, or to the stadium, that is. To the stadium. Hopefully that's the last time she steps foot near that stadium because, like I do not want anything to do with that woman. I know nothing about her, but I can already tell by the way she talks that I could not be in the same room with that woman. So, New York has had a hard time getting competent governors. Apparently so. With all the stuff that's going on there. You got, I don't know if did you guys see? I laugh because this is unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. Did you see the lady in New York who stole the New York Knicks garbage can that the city of New York put out? She dumped the garbage in the street and took the garbage can on a subway home. This dumb idiot, by the way, was recorded doing this. She had a $300,000 job at Chase, and they fired her. Like, how dumb can you get? Was it worth it? Really? Was it worth it? So now you're not only did you lose your job, but you're probably going to get ticketed for putting litter all over the street and stealing. I don't know what they value the garbage can at, but was it worth it? I mean, really, you could have bought, and you make $300,000 a year. You could have made a garbage can if it was that important and had paid somebody to do a replica garbage can of the New York Knicks colors. I mean, that is wild to me. It's just wild. Like, this world is amazing. It's amazing. Like, that people are so fucking dumb that they're willing to lose their jobs over a fucking garbage can in the street, by the way, filled with trash. It's crazy, guys. Like this is the world we're living in. This is it. So I mean, like, oh my God, bro. I would expect that from like some, teenager, right? Or whatever, even it's a 20-year-old. You know what I mean? Even maybe early 30s, some fucking idiot. You know what I mean? But like a fucking lady who has her has her shit together, you would think, right? She's making that much money, goes around stealing garbage cans. Wait, it's insanity. Also, another thing that's insane is what's his name? Terrion Arnold. Is that how you pronounce his name for the Lions? I believe that's how you pronounce his name. The corner that they drafted, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he was drafted the same year that the draft was in Detroit that I went to. I'm pretty sure. And if you guys don't know the story on that, that's a fucking crazy one. This guy, it's just unbelievable. It almost sounds like I'm a fake story. Like, there's no way somebody could be that fucking dumb. But the guy has an Airbnb. What is it called? Airbnb. What the fuck it's called, right? Airbnb. Okay. He has Airbnb that he rents out. And I guess whoever was renting from him stole stuff from the house. I guess like $100,000 worth of stuff. Okay. First of all, like, I want to throw this out there. If you are renting out an Airbnb, you should probably expect, and I know it sucks because people are fucking assholes, that there could be people that could steal, that could damage your property, but these are the risks you take, right? And this is why you probably should have home insurance and whatever the Airbnb crap. I have no idea how it works, but I'm sure there's some kind of added insurance and all that crap, right? In case these people steal, I'm sure you note down what's in the home, and if they steal something, your insurance should cover that. I mean, you would think. And then if you don't, then that's on you. So apparently somebody stole stuff from this guy's house, this Airbnb. So what he did, apparently he had his friends or hire people. I got to read more into it. But they found the people, one of the people that were renting, I guess, and like basically kidnapped them at gunpoint. And I think they were recording it to him, right? So this was all set up by him, recording this. And it comes to find out these people weren't even the ones responsible for the theft. So what do you think would happen? What do you think happened, folks? The people that went out and kidnapped and gunpoint all this stuff, of course they took plea deals. Of course they did. So what's that mean? They're going to testify against this guy who now has, like, I think they said like 6 felony counts of armed robbery, I think it's armed robbery and kidnapping, all this stuff, which can get you life in prison, right? It's kind of like what OJ did when he went after his memorabilia, if you guys remember that, right? Real stupid. So more than likely, I mean, listen, they're not going to just charge somebody without having a good amount of evidence, right? So you know they got some evidence on this guy. You know they do. They got text. They got something. He's going to get time. Even if some of the felonies are dropped, they ain't dropping all of them. And that's a serious offense. Kidnapping is a serious offense, right? So he's looking at time all over an Airbnb theft of property in the Airbnb. Like, what are you doing? You are a young football player who's on a rookie deal, who's probably going to get paid soon, like a real contract coming up, right? You know, you probably got insurance anyways that's going to cover. Call the police, make a report, and if you don't get your money back, it is what it is. That's the chance that's the chance you took when you had an Airbnb. Like, it would be like, you know, people renting out their cars or what, like fancy cars, and they get in an accident. That's the chance you take. I'm just saying, like, well, I don't get it. I don't get what goes on in the mind of these people, these athletes. I don't get it. Athletes or musicians or, you know, people in movies that go out drinking and driving, just dumb shit. Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. People be crazy. Yeah, bro. It's wild. That's an insane amount. That's an insane amount of money to be making a year to do something so stupid. Yeah, bro. I don't get it. Let's go. Tyrion Arnold. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, he's gonna go. By the way, no bond. No bond. His initial, I guess he had no bond, but now he goes to another court where the judge is either going to give him bond or no bond, like another part of the court hearing. But I think the state is trying to make it a no bond court case or whatever. So basically, if the judge agrees, he has to stay in there until the court and until until the court, basically, so until he goes to court. So he's going to be in jail. I mean, he's going to be in jail. He's probably not going to get out. And more than likely, the Lions are just going to cut bait. And I'm sure in his contract somewhere, they probably don't even have to pay his remaining deal because he got in trouble with the law. I'm sure that's in there. So real dumb. I mean, this is what's going on, right, with these athletes, and just other people in general. I mean, just so stupid. All right, let's get to the next thing that I got here. So I got some stuff lined up for you guys, little stuff, right? Because there's, once again, not a lot, but we'll get into it. All right, so Buffalo Bills fans enraged about outrageous ticket costs at new stadium, where cheapest seats are $700. First of all, I'll be honest with you guys. I enjoy watching the game from the comfort of my house. Right now, will I go to this new stadium in time? Yes. Right, because I do want to experience it, no doubt about it. but it probably ain't gonna happen until year 2 or 3. I'm gonna be honest with you. When tickets go down, a little. However, when you're a good team, doesn't matter what sport, tickets are generally high. I mean, it's the way it works now. I know it sucks, but that's how it goes, right? Especially new stadium. You're still a really good team. You're a playoff team. They know that. All right. People want these seats. They're going to charge what they're going to charge. So it is what it is. And if you don't like it, watch the game from home. Go to a bar. I mean, I know it sucks. I get that. But this is the way it works. This is how it goes. This is not just the Buffalo Bills thing. Now, if the Buffalo Bills were a terrible team, right, like the Browns, let's say, fine, I get it, right? Like, your team's going to probably lose when you go to the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just kind of going there for the atmosphere or whatever, I guess, right? But, yeah, but this is a different situation. You know what I mean? But it's expensive. Like, I'll say this. It is steep. And not only that, like, if you have a family of 4, let's say your wife and 2 kids, or even a family of 3, $700 a pop, $2,100. That's not even including parking. That's not including drinks and food. I mean, that's a lot of money right now. If you're going as an individual, now, yeah, $700 is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but if you want to go that badly, it is what it is. I think in time they will drop the prices, but it's kind of like the hype right now. You know what I mean? It's the hype of the new stadium, the hype of the new team, like, the team, Josh Allen, the new coach, like, they're selling you on that. I get it. In time, it will go down, but once again, if you don't like the prices, just watch the game from home. It's not that big of a deal. I'll go in time. But trust me when I tell you, fans are going to find their way in the seats. Not me, because I don't have that kind of money. But there's fans out there that do have that kind of money, that will pay that kind of money to go to a game. There's also season ticket holders, right? Year in, year out. I'm sure they get better deals than $700 a seat. You get what I'm saying? So for me, too much money. And I get that. And that's why I'll have to, wait on that. But even when they get cheaper, guys, I only go probably one time. Like, I've only been to the Ralph one time. I went in 2018, Josh's rookie year when we played the Lions, and I had a great time, and I even had good seats. But listen, even with the good seats, still kind of tough to see with the football and really see the game. So it kind of took that part away from it from me. What I enjoyed was the atmosphere. I enjoyed the tailgating. I enjoyed, walking around the stadium. I enjoyed, being with other fans. Like, that part is awesome. Like, no doubt about it. But to actually watch the game, I enjoy it way better at home. Way better at home. You know what I mean? So, and by the way, I've been to other games. Like, I've been to Miami Hurricanes games, like big ones too, against like FSU. And it was awesome. I had a great time. But once again, I prefer to be home watching the game. I can see the game so much better, right? I'm not cramped up. I'm not, you know what I mean? Getting out of the stadium isn't it's a bitch. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about traffic. Should be in my home. You know what I mean? Right? Saving my money, enjoying the AC, having my own food. I'm cool with it. The ticket pricing will eventually drop, but I was looking at myself for tickets. Ain't no way I can afford even nosebleeds. This will be an almost 5G trip for me to take. Yeah. And by the way, the way the stadium supposedly is designed, and everyone that's been in there so far, the reporters and stuff, it's the way it's designed is even if you have like you're at the very top, you're looking right down at stadium. Like so it makes it better to watch the game. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not like old school where if you're way up there, you can't see anything. So the way the stadium design is, you can see the game. You know what I mean? But once again, damn, even that seat's going to cost you probably, I mean, they say right there, the cheapest seat is $700. So yeah, I'm waiting. Well, if I got to wait 3 years, I'll wait 3 years. Yeah. Classic supply and demand. Yep. I've never been to a game and don't plan on it. Okay. Hey, Roy, it is what it is. I get you on that, but I had to, and like I said, once again, it's not for everyone, but I had to go to the old stadium because I knew they were going to, eventually leave that stadium. All right. And I had to see Josh Allen, and also I wanted to have the experience of the tailgating and Bill's Mafia. You know what I mean? Like I needed that. Now the new stadium is also kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? Like going into this brand new stadium and just experiencing that as well. But I'm in no rush. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be a one and done for me. You know what I mean? Like just like every other sporting event I have ever been to, more like I think I went to 3 Hurricane games, 2 in the Orange Bowl and 1 in the Dolphin Stadium where they play now, the Hard Rock. I believe it's called the Hard Rock. I had a blast in the Orange Bowl, way better than Hard Rock. Like it just, the fans were just it was just a different vibe than the Hard Rock. I had a great time. I've been to the Hard Rock before it was the Hard Rock to watch Dolphin Bills games. I probably went to, I think 3 or 4, and I think 3 of them might have been when I was like super young, and my mom took me with her boyfriend who were Dolphin fans, and I had a great time because I was a kid. I think you have a better time as a kid than you do as an adult to those kind of things, right? And I think I went to 1 or 2 hockey games, and one of them I got to go on the. Got these seats on the glass, like literally on the glass. It was really cool, and I'm not even a hockey fan, but that was pretty dope being on the glass. And I've been to a couple Tigers games. I went to a playoff game against the Yankees way back in the day. My cousin's a sergeant out here and basically hooked me up. Got to go in with him. So, but even then I could barely see, you know what I mean? So, but I think, it's good for the experience. That's all. Good for the experience. But for me, one and done, I'm cool with it. I would not give $2 to go to the new stadium. Jeez, I can afford it, but still ain't going to got better stuff to spend the money. Listen, I get it. I'm not even, I totally feel you guys. I mean, that's wild. $700. Even if I was rich, for me, it's not even, I mean, I get the money, but for me, it's more about the comfort. So if I was rich, I would probably go 1 time a year. You know what I mean? Just because it's not as fun. It's just not as fun for me or enjoyable as it is watching from home. But to each his own, though. You know what I mean? To each his own. I just go to tailgate, especially with the Rock Pile guys. I don't need to go in the stadium for those prices. Yeah, so there is people that just go to tailgate. That I know, and they actually watch the game. Some of them watch the game in like their RVs outside, or they get set up TVs. Now it will be interesting, the parking in the new stadium. If any, like I remember when I went in 2018, the parking was pretty decent sized lots, but really like muddy. I remember it being real muddy. My shoes were like totally ruined. Right. I should have, and I wear decent shoes. And so I think somebody told me too, like, Like next time, I think it was like somebody that was there. Like next time, you shouldn't wear those shoes, man. I'm like, fuck. So, but I wonder how parking's going to be at the new stadium. Wait a few years, Jay is done. Tickets will, they'll definitely drop. 100%. That's what I'm saying. I'll have to wait on that. The tailgating and just a Mafia fan. Ship of cultures, have fun. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Yes, Darren, it's unrivaled. All right, so let's get to that. Let's see what this says real quick before we move on. So cheapest seats are $700. It says Bills Mafia. So this Buffalo Bills fans are bashing outrageous ticket prices to see a home game at the team's flashy new. I like how they call it flashy new Highmark Stadium. So flashy over here. It's a new stadium. Why does it have to be flashy? Whatever. Flashy new Highmark Stadium, where the cheapest seats cost an eye-watering $700. Bills Mafia from as far as Florida, Tennessee, and Texas flocked to Orchard Park, New York this week for the shiny new stadium ribbon cutting ceremony. But many said that they fear they won't be able to afford a ticket. Ticket prices are outrageous, one Bills fan told News 4. It says, as of Friday morning, the cheapest available for the Bills' first regular season home game, September 17th, is $702.10 on Ticketmaster, the Post found. If you have a family with one kid or two kids, 4 tickets, that's a lot of money, said a loyal Bills fan who was visiting the stadium all the way from Florida. Another agreed, saying, it's scary when you got a family of four or five and you got to pay these kind of prices for tickets. Many Bills devotees worried that they might never see a game in the new stadium, for which taxpayers paid $850 million. It will be the home of the NFL franchise for the next 30 years. It's going to be impossible, almost, to get in here, one fan told News 4. Another laminated, I probably will never see a game here. The sky-high prices are reportedly being driven by the new stadium unveiling a $2.1 billion 60,000-seat project that broke ground in 2023 and heightened Bills' fever. It's because of the new stadium, chief executive at ticket reseller told News 4. It's a new stadium with demand from the Bills playing really well and Josh Allen. And then you've got the away teams like Kansas City, New England, who fetch a higher price. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. Said prices could change in the future, but fans who are eager to see a home game soon to get their sights on preseason tickets. That makes sense. If you really want to get into the stadium, the preseason games are attractive price-wise, he said. You're talking $100 for Pittsburgh. You know what? That's not a terrible idea. I got to be honest with you. And if I do wind up going, maybe I should just go to a preseason game. Not this year, but maybe in the following year. The new Highmark Stadium, which was designed by Populous, features a natural grass field instead of turf, underground heating coils to prevent the grass from freezing, in the world's largest stadium snow melt system. It was also designed to reduce the impact of the wind with a 360-degree canopy that covers more than 60% of the seating bowl. All right, so that's that. So, yeah, it makes a little bit more sense if you're going to go. Maybe go to a preseason game if you want to just experience the stadium, right? I know it's not going to be as fun as a regular season game, meaning, there's really no true, the game doesn't matter, right? Because it's a preseason game. But if you're really just going there to check out the new stadium, right, then maybe the preseason is the way to go. And that's probably what I'll do, to be honest with you, because even in a couple years, it's probably going to go down a little. I don't think it'll go down like drastically. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless the team just starts sucking ass, which I just don't see happening. So there's that. I mean, yeah. So that's actually a really great idea, guys. If you're gonna, want to just check out the stadium, preseason $100. I mean, this year it could go to, could be cheaper moving forward. You know what I mean? So I might even do that. But right now, shit, man, I got to GoFundMe up. I can't even afford it. If the ticket was $5. I got my own worries. I definitely ain't spending no money on no damn tickets to a football game. All right, let's get to the next thing. By the way, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Thank you so much. All right, so Josh Allen was recently interviewed, by the way, and Josh Allen gets honest about new look roster. And let's see here. It says a lot of new. We're going to figure things out, Allen said. Obviously, we go to camp July 28th. By the way, rookie camp starts July 21st, I believe. So we're about, what are we about? I'd say about 3 weeks away till rookie training camp starts. And then about a month away total of when training, the vets show up. So 3 weeks for rookie and a vet show up in about a month. So it's right around the corner. And then you got preseason right around the corner after that as well. So that's really where you make your team. But like you said, a lot of new faces, offense, defense, staff wise, new stadium, new head coach. So there's a lot of new. And we're looking forward to getting out there and really learning each other and building that team camaraderie. I can't even pronounce that. Y'all know where I'm going with that. When we go to St. John Fisher in Rochester, Allen also doubled down on the Super Bowl being the team's only goal this season. But yeah, it's another tough task, but the goal remains the same, and that's to bring on a Lombardi Trophy to Western New York. And we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen. Overcoming so many changes, that could be a difficult task. Allen and the Bills have their work cut out for them to get everything together for the start of the regular season. A lot of team success, or lack thereof, will ride on the shoulders of the star quarterback. He completed 69.3% of the pass attempts for 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions last season, while also rushing for 579, 14 more scores. Hopefully, Buffalo is ready for the challenge ahead. Allen and company will head into training camp with a lot of work to do, but the talent is there for the 2026 Bills to be special. And yeah, it is there. The talent's definitely there. I've been telling you guys this. I never thought the roster was the main issue or a big issue on why the Buffalo Bills didn't win a Super Bowl, or at least go to a Super Bowl when Sean McDermott was here as a head coach. I mean, the issue was at least the bigger part of the issue, right, to be fair, was Sean McDermott. Right now, of course, the players have to take some responsibility as well. Brandon Beane, it takes a little bit of responsibility as well. Like everybody, the coordinators, the coaching staff, like the rest of the coaching staff, like they all take a little bit of responsibility. I agree with that. However, it still falls back on Sean McDermott for the most part. So they got rid of that problem. They got the same roster pretty much with new additions, right? So once again, this roster's never been an issue for me, right? Can we add new pieces? Did we need a true number one receiver the last 2 years? Yes. And we went out and got that in DJ Moore, right? So you're adding DJ Moore to an offense that was already a pretty good offense without a number one. Now you're adding a number one that only is going to make the offense better. We're not going to go backwards, right? And that's why I don't understand why Bills fans are so disappointed in the offense, right? Especially the offense. Because this team was never, at least the offense was never really the major problem, even without Stephon Diggs over the last 2 years, right? The problem without Stephon Diggs, or a true number one over the last 2 years, was when we got caught up in some of these games against better defenses, we needed a playmaker. We didn't have that, right? And I get that, and I was with that, and I was saying that for a long time. But now you added that, right? So there's the problem solved. Problem solved. Check mark, right? Check that off the list. That was the only issue with the offense, guys. There was no major problem with the offense. It was just, where was our go-to guy, right? Who was our one? Who was the guy that was going to, where defenses had a game plan for, right? Like they did with Stephon Diggs, like they did with, all the other star receivers in the NFL, right? Now we have that guy on the team. And that will also help out players like Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Palmer, if he's still here, which I hope not. I hope they figure that part out. But it will make their lives a lot easier. Dalton Kincaid, who's kind of like a hybrid tight end, receiver / tight end, the way he plays his role. Skylar Bell, I expect him to climb the depth chart, this season. But having that guy is going to make those guys better. This is what they do. That's what having a number one's all about. And we were missing out over the last 2 years. But even with that being said, we still were a dangerous team. We still put up points. Right? The problem was our defense and our defensive coordinator and Sean McDermott's defensive scheme. Right? And his and just what he wanted and what he believed in this defense. And also too, I always say this too, his hand was in the cookie jar in the offense where it should not have been. And I really hope that Joe Brady, and I believe he will, keep his hand out of the defensive cookie jar. Keeps his hand out of the cookie jar of the defense. Let the guy, Jim Leonhard, who knows that side of the ball, do his thing. I need you, Joe Brady, concentrate on the offense with Carmichael and just get that shit right. Right? Whatever you didn't do right last year or the last 2 years as offense coordinator, you need to correct those things. You need to start working on those things. Be a better version of yourself. And trust in the guy that you hired. That's all I expect. Sean McDermott did not do that, right? He hired within. He promoted Joe Brady. Did not trust Joe Brady, right? Held Joe Brady back. We know this. It's been told. Tyler Dunn came out with and talked about this recently. That, against certain opponents, Sean McDermott wanted to keep to a certain script and did not want to change that script. Play it safe football, right? The NFL doesn't work that way. You can't always play it safe. You also got to trust in your coordinators. You hired them for a reason. You promoted them for a reason. If you do not trust them to do their job, then you need to fire them. And then you need to hire somebody that is capable of doing their job where you don't need to step in and do it for them. I mean, it's simple as that. But yet Sean McDermott didn't want to do that. Why? Because he wanted control. Now that's out the building. Like, people don't talk about this enough. It's wild to me. Like, people just want to complain about the roster. They want to complain about Brandon Beane. Oh, Brandon Beane. But yeah, we had a coach here over the last 9 years that made it very difficult for his own coordinators to do his job. Who forced our star player, Stephon Diggs, out the building. Let's be real. I mean, he's basically forced him out the building because he wanted to change the offensive play calling, because he wanted to change the scheme of the offense. And Stephon Diggs wasn't going to be a part of that. And Stephon Diggs knew this, understood this. And that's why there was a disconnect there. Right? But who at the end was right? Stephon Diggs, Sean McDermott. Was the offense better with Diggs or better without Diggs? Let me think. I think it was better with Diggs. Right? I mean, come on, folks. But, as fans, we want to, or certain fans want to, go, Sean McDermott has to be right. Stephon Diggs is a bad guy. He's a bad locker room guy. Him and Josh don't get along. Right? They had to find a reason why it was acceptable to trade away our number one receiver. Had to find a reason, right? Oh, he's a dick. He's no good, right? Like, you dropping past the playoff. Like they went away from him at the end. He goes, leaves, and gets 1,000 yards for New England. Oh, man. Roy, defensive scheme was an issue, but do you also believe there was a lack of defensive talent? No. So listen, you got to remember too, and I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying Bean has been perfect or, didn't have opportunities to probably bring in a better free agent possibly, or make a trade to bring in maybe a high caliber defensive player. I get that. I'm with you on that. However, we don't really know. The problem is this. I don't really know if the players were the main problem or was it the scheme, right? Because I look at players that left Buffalo, Roy, that went on and actually played better, right? And there's a few examples, and I'm not saying all of them, but you look at guys like Jerry Hughes, who left Buffalo, who had a really good season with Houston. You look at guys like Poona Ford, who couldn't even get a game day jersey, who's a Pro Bowler now. You look at guys like Tim Settle, who did nothing in Buffalo, winds up being, I believe, a Pro Bowler as well, and just got a nice contract. Why are these guys performing well when they left Buffalo? Why? It just makes no sense. All of a sudden now they get out to play football. I don't buy in. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. Right? You got guys like Wyatt Teller, who, according to Bobby Johnson and Sean McDermott, we could not find a place for him on this team, so we ship him off. Right? Stephon Diggs was a problem, right? Let's ship him off. Right? He's no good for the team. We have no use for him. This is all on the head coach. Like, this is not Brandon Beane. We had talent here. Am I missing something? We had guys in the building that provided, that could produce, right? And I still wonder, can Groot be a better version of himself with a new defensive scheme? We're going to find out. Can Ed Oliver be a better version of himself with a new defensive scheme? Can the young guys that we just drafted a couple years ago be a better version of himself? We're about to find out, right? So, once again, I don't know if it was so much more of, man, we just have had some bad picks, because some of these players excelled in college, were really good athletes. Groot was always a guy that was going to be sort of a project player, but I don't think Groot's been a bad player. Like, I think Bills Mafia, because he was a first-round pick, even though he was 28th, I believe, that year in the draft, I think they expected him to just be this monster. He played 1 year of college, and then he missed the second year because of COVID, right? So sat out. And was always meant to be a guy that they needed to, work with, right? But Groot's winding up, he's one of the better edge rush defenders in the NFL, right? That's proven. He's been up there in, in pass rush, as far as getting to the quarterback. He just hasn't gotten home, right? He's not a bad player, right? You know what I mean? So, like, he's a guy that I'm very interested to see how this works in the system. You got guys like Christian Benford, who's, for me, a top 10 corner. Like, I mean, come on now. You got Cole Bishop, who's an up-and-coming top safety in the NFL. He's not there yet, but he's on his way. So I don't necessarily think we have bad talent, even on the defensive side of the things. And we're about to find out about the guys that are still here from the McDermott era, especially on defense, how they are with a new defensive scheme and vision. Let's see if they are a better version of themselves. We're going to find out, right? And if they're not, the team's going to move on. Like that, it's already like, this is how it works, right? This whole offseason, especially on the defensive side of things, everything has been what Jim Leonhard and Brandon Beane want, right? That fits in Jim Leonhard's scheme, right? So all the guys in free agency is exactly what Jim Leonhard wants in his scheme. It feels like they fit in his scheme. All the draft picks are all Jim Leonhard guys, right? Everything else is inherited, right? And if these guys that he inherited are not working out in what he wants, what he wants in his scheme, then those guys they'll move on from those guys. They'll figure it out. And then they'll add in pieces that fit into what Leonhard wants. So, yeah, it could take a couple years for that defense to really mold together, especially if guys don't wind up working out in the system. And that's normal. That's a normal thing, especially when you switch defenses, from a 4-3 to 3-4. McDermott had the same problem with Diggs and Coleman. If it walks like a duck, it probably is a duck. Yeah. And as we know, Sean McDermott has put guys in the doghouse time and time again. I don't know why certain guys. Quentin Spain is a great example. Quentin Spain, and once again, I'm not saying Quentin Spain is this unbelievable offensive lineman, but he had a really good year for us the year prior. Wanted to stay in Buffalo. He was the first player that we signed, I believe, that offseason. And I think he played one game the following year, and I don't know what happened with him and McDermott, but he benched him, and then Spain wanted out, and we wind up cutting him. So what a total waste! Yeah, I think once you're in that doghouse of Sean McDermott, it's tough to get out. An issue always comes up was a lack of pass rush. That's why I asked the question. Not the only issue, though. Yes, that's true. But was it because of the scheme, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that does play a part. Like I said, the one thing that Leonhard is talking about constantly when he has interviews this offseason was about being aggressive and getting to the quarterback. Like, that's what his style is, and that's what he's going to bring. Sean McDermott was never really like that. He wasn't an ultra-aggressive defensive coach, right? Like, he tried to be in Philly, and it backfired. He got fired. He went to Carolina, and it worked in that system, but he also had really good linebackers in Carolina. But I think also, too, offenses adapt, right? And they offenses get more creative as the years go on, right? And defenses also have to adapt, just like offenses do, right? And evolve. That's the word I'm looking. Evolve, right? So offenses evolve, and defenses have to evolve too. And I don't feel like Sean McDermott ever evolved as a defensive coordinator. I think he just had his defense set. This is what I want, and this is what the script I'm sticking to. We're not changing anything, right? You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know if players benefited from his scheme. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if players are being held back on what they truly can do under Sean McDermott. We're about to find out. You know what I mean? Because I can't say for sure. All I could tell you is what I know from McDermott, and his scheme was broken. And you heard that, by the way, from coaches around the NFL that played against the Buffalo Bills, that everything they saw on film was exactly what they got, right? They did nothing different, right? So that's not good. Like, you got to change things up, right? And McDermott was not very good with that. I think McDermott didn't develop and didn't know how to grow players because it was always a one-sided conversation. I will say this: he was good with like safeties and corners. He was pretty good with that. But outside of that, like, defensive line was like, he was miserable with those guys. We drafted players that was at odds with what they were asked to do with McDermott. Yeah, yep. That's why I believe most of the guys who weren't able to get sacks or 1,000 yards receiving, I think we were going to get that. I think McDermott was set in his ways. He was unwilling to change. Exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, he just was not willing to adapt to what offenses were new wave offenses, right? Like, if you look at like McVay and you look at like Andy Reid, and I'm talking about the good offensive minded teams, because we did fine against bad teams, like bad offensive teams, no problem. But once you go against these guys, right? But guess what? You're going to face those guys in the playoffs, right? Guys that are offensive-minded coaches, guys that are innovated, right? They don't just always stick with the script. That's where we ran into problems all the time, right? They evolved. McDermott did not, right? Went into the playoffs with the same defensive scheme, right? So these guys were like, okay. Like Andy Reid, great example. The Buffalo Bills play the Kansas City Chiefs really good in the regular season. But when we played them in the playoffs, and we, there were good games too, but the Chiefs, they ran different looks at us. They did different things in the playoffs, right? They ran a different type of offense in that game. They had a different game plan, a different script. All right, we saw what you did. We know what you guys did in the regular season. We know your defense. And guess what? Andy Reid's thinking, well, I don't think Sean McDermott's going to change anything. He's not going to show me anything different. So you know what? Let's show him something different, right? This game. Let's do this, right? Because I don't think McDermott's going to change his ways. He's going to what you see is what you get, and he's going to throw it out there regardless if it's a regular season or playoffs. There was no change. Matter of fact, if anything, Sean McDermott in the playoffs was even more conservative than he was in the regular season, which makes it even worse, right? He played it ultra conservative, ultra safe on both sides of the ball. Can't do that. And that's another reason why we failed. McDermott just wanted to control and play it safe. Exactly, play it safe. This is football, not your son's T-ball league. Very good point. That's my point I was making. Adjust, adapt, and overcome. McDermott is bend, don't break. The opposite of that. Absolutely. Let's not risk it, right? And if you got a young offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, who has this guy breathing down his neck, let's get, as you guys know, they communicate during the course of a game. You know damn well that McDermott's telling them, yo, we're going to do this here. Don't get too cute. Remember the comment this previous season that he threw Brady under the bus? Remember when he said he got too cute? Remember Brady got interviewed right after, and the media guy asked him about McDermott saying too cute, and remember Brady was like, kind of like he looked surprised. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's a low blow. That's a shot at your coordinator, right? Being too cute. It's like, listen, man, it's okay. Like, let this guy do his thing. Not everything's going to go perfect, but, once he feels like he's walking on eggshells and now he can't be creative, now he can't do a trick play here and there, like, maybe it fails, maybe it backfires, and I remember one play it did. It's okay. It's not like this guy's going extreme trick play after one. But if he feels like I can never do that again, right? I got this guy breathing down my neck. I'm already getting, he's already calling my place, play calling cute, too cute. Like, he's always going to play it safe, right? He's not going to risk getting fired. Sean McDermott fired 2 offensive coordinators, and he drove one out of town, and Brian Dable, who couldn't stand him. If y'all remember, we had an offensive coordinator, I forget his name, in 2017, who he fired right away. Remember that? I don't know how many games he had, if any, that he coordinated that year. I don't remember, but I remember him being fired. I believe he went to Baltimore, right? Shortly after, but and then he hired Brian Dable, and they did not get along. I mean, that's, everybody knows this. And then he fired Ken Dorsey, right? And trust me when I tell you this, Joe Brady would have been next. Joe Brady absolutely would have been next on the chopping block, and it would have been another guy that was probably in the building that was going to understand his place. And if he didn't, he was going to get fired, right? Also, Leslie Frazier, even though technically he wasn't fired, he was fired. he was like, oh, it was just a respect thing because they knew Leslie Frazier was a seasoned former head coach, former player, Super Bowl champion, right? A lot of respect from players like that had to go down a certain way, but let's be real. He wasn't returning, right? They try to pull that bullshit about he needed a year off. He was never coming back, right? How about Chad Hall, who the players loved, wide receivers coach, left for Jacksonville to take the same job. Most of the time, guys, when coordinators when position coaches leaves a team, most of the time it's because they're getting a better gig, a better opportunity. Chad Hall left to get the same opportunity. He is to coach by the way, to be on a team that was not even close to what the Bills were at the time, and still aren't. But you get my point. So, like, why is this guy leaving? Who was a player favorite, right? Like the players bought him a truck. If you don't you remember that, they all bought. Remember, all the receivers bought Chad Hall a brand new pickup truck. And the guy just winds up leaving to go to Jacksonville for no reason. Same gig. Like it makes no. There's a lot going on there. You know, I think that he just didn't allow his coaches to coach. I truly believe that. Like eventually, that's going to come out. There's going to be former coaches that come out and eventually talk about that. It hasn't been yet, and maybe they won't. But I wouldn't be shocked if somebody eventually, you know, hey, man, you know, when I was a coach there, you know, this is how it all went down. You know what I mean? Like McDermott motto was the opposite of the Marine Corps motto, improvise, adapt, and overcome. He didn't do any of that. Yeah, no. Roy, too cute. When the trick play, Brady. I get that. But you understand my point, Roy, about that? He ran a trick play. And yes, it failed. I get it, right? But when you criticize your guy, right after, and kind of throw him under the bus, then that coordinator's never going like he's never going to feel confident enough to want to do anything like that again. And I don't want my coaches to feel that way. You're going to make mistakes. You know what I mean? Not every trick play is going to work out, but how often would we even run them to begin with? So now he has this in the back of his mind that, man, fuck, dude, like I can't get creative. I can't do anything like that in the future. Like I don't want my coaches doing that. You get what I'm saying? Like, or feeling that way, because then it's not them. You know what I mean? Like then they're not a version of themselves anymore. They're a version of Sean McDermott or whoever's telling them that. You know what I mean? Like that. You just, I don't know. I just don't agree with that. Yeah. Yep. Rick Dennison. Yes, that's Rick Dennison. You were right. Or was it Greg Roman? I think it was Rick Dennison. I want to say Rick Dennison. I think they're correct on that. Hey, Danger Zone. Let's fucking go, Jets. How you doing, brother? Hey, I appreciate that. I think it was you on the GoFundMe, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But if you did, I appreciate that, brother, man. It means a lot. Godzilla, I believe McDermott never felt what Allen and the players felt after a crushing defeat each year, and he was happy to have the next year to coach. Yeah, no. Hit that like. Yeah, hit that like. I don't know if I always forget to tell you guys that. Hit the like for me. Helps me with the YouTube algorithm. I got to say, guys, too, man, my channels, like over the last 2 years, have like come to a screeching halt. Like I have no idea what is going on. And it could be me. Maybe people are just sick of my voice. But man, when I started this thing in 2020, and I would say in like 2022 or 2021, maybe, like it really took off from 2021 to 2023. I want to say it really, like, I was getting a lot of new subs and a lot of views. Like it took off. And then in 2024, 2025, like season, it's just kind of like not that it's dropped, but it's just kind of, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. It could be the fact that there's like gazillion Buffalo Bills channels out there now. I mean, maybe that, or maybe it is me. I don't know. But yeah, definitely hit the like, man. Maybe I'll get some new faces up in here. I got to get with you, Buffalo. Yeah. No, of course, brother. I got you. 100%, man. We'll get to talking before the season. Maybe we'll do a show about the upcoming season. I got my AFC East Shakedown show. I got my one dude on there. You know him, Anthony. But you're always welcome to join us one day on that as well, man. I'm always welcome guests on that show. But anyways, yeah, man, that's the gist, man. I can't wait for the season to kind of move on from McDermott. I'm still in the McDermott timeline still because we haven't began a new season yet. Once that season starts, we can kind of move on from the McDermott talk because it will finally be over officially. Right now, it's still a thing. It is. Man, there's nothing like some good lemonade. I don't know if you guys drink lemonade out there, but I found like a good lemonade they sell in the supermarket now. And it's like all natural. I like a couple. There's Simply Lemonade, and there's what's the new brand I just found? They do sweet tea as well. What is the damn name of that damn what is that? Man, it's called with an M. What is the name of that stupid Milo's? Is it Milo's? Milo's sweet tea. Let's see here. It's called let's see if you guys get it before I get it. Can't believe I'm messing this name up. Milo's. It is Milo's. Milo's. Milos. So I was right. Milo's. Not bad. They make sweet tea. They're known more for their tea, but their lemonade's pretty damn good too. Your channel stopped growing when you started bashing McDermott and sending love letters to Bean. That's my sarcastic remark for the night. Hey, listen, I've been bashing Bean for a couple years, no doubt about it. Not Bean, been bashing McDermott for a couple years now, and it's well deserved. I don't think I doubt it's that. I doubt it's that. But hey, you know what? I might have lost some subscribers. I mean, it's a good point for those that hate Brandon Bean. It's possible. I mean, who knows? I'm not going to please everybody, but no, it's been quite drastic as far as like the views and subs. It's really kind of like, I don't know what the hell happened. Anyways, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? McDermott vlog will be lifted once we start a new season. Thank God. Yeah, it will be. It will be. I like love letter. Right? Yeah. Hey man. Yeah, it is what it is. I look. You know, I think I talk about being a lot more just that irk people. You know, the people that hate him. Right. Obviously, I have a little fun with it, but in all truth, I do believe in him, and I do believe he's done a good job here. Has he been perfect? No, but is anyone perfect in life? No. Like, we all make mistakes in life. We've all said things that we regretted, and I think people hold that WGR thing like he's the worst person in the world because of that one, incident. But yet the dude goes on a lot of talk shows, and he's a really stand-up cool guy. I mean, he goes on Pat McAfee. How many GMs go on Pat McAfee? Not a lot, because you got to kind of be a fun, likable person to go on that show. You got to understand jokes and not take things so serious. And that tells me, it tells a lot about a person, right? That can go on that kind of platform and not take things serious or be too serious. So I don't think he's a jerk or this asshole that everybody makes him out to be. Like, I don't buy that. I also don't buy that. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, his drafts have been terrible. No, they haven't. They have not been terrible. And I'll continue to fight that. and I've said before, the things I feel like where he's dropped the ball is free agency. And I would like for him to be a little bit more aggressive as a GM, right? Take a little bit more, swing the bat a little bit more. Outside of that, though, I got no problem with Brandon Beane. This team should have made it to a Super Bowl under Sean McDermott. Abso-fucking-lutely, right? Absolutely. Beane is the man. Godzilla knows. It's also the offseason. Yeah, it's man, this part of the offseason is tough. It's grueling. Unless you're talking about wide receiver. But you know what, though? In all fairness, once again, Brandon Beane did trade for Stephon Diggs. He did, bring in Cole Beasley, John Brown, Emmanuel Sanders. Like, it's not like the guy never brung in receivers here. Are you going to tell me all those receivers are bad? That those guys sucked? Right? Are you telling me that Brandon Beane just all of a sudden said, you know what? Fuck Stephon Diggs, even though I just paid him an extension. You know what? Now I'm going to ship him off. Like, no. Like, that was his head coach going, I can't work with this guy. Get rid of him. Matter of fact, get rid of him, and I don't even need a receiver like that anymore. I don't need a true number one. I don't believe we need it. You know why? Because my vision of this offense doesn't require a wide receiver one. Let's go spend our money on defense. Let's concentrate back on defense. That's exactly what they did. The job of the GM is to basically coordinate with the coach and build a team that the coach wants. That's his job, period. He's not going to tell Sean McDermott go fuck himself about the whole Stephon Diggs thing. And no, that's too bad. We're keeping him. Like, then you got friction, and now you got a problem. So you don't want a problem in-house with your GM and coach. I've said this a million times. It's a chain, right? And if one link is broken, you're fucked. So the owner, the GM, and the coach, they all have to link up. Once that chain is broken, once a link is broken, you have a fucking problem. And if you look at the dumpster fire teams around the NFL, the Dolphins, the Jets, right? The Giants. I'm sure there's more I'm missing. Arizona. There's always a problem in-house with ownership or GM or coach. They're seeing two different things. One is seeing one thing one way, the other's doing another. One is mad for drafting this guy, the other's wanted that. Like, you can't have that. Regardless of it's right or wrong, a good GM will always back the coach. You're in it together. But once you got, like, look at the Dolphins, Greer and McDaniel. I want this guy starting. I don't want that. The owner wants a different quarterback, or he wants him to play. This one, you can't have. That's where problems really start to happen, and that's where you get to all this dysfunction and teams, winning 4 games, 5 games a year, right? Look at the Giants, and Dable and Shane. Like, it's not, and the owner, it's just not good. You cannot have that. So Brandon Beane absolutely played his part. He was a good GM. He did what McDermott asked. He went out and, hey, you don't want Diggs? Okay. God, geez, we're going to take a cap hit, but you don't need a receiver one. You believe in this everybody eats? Okay. All right, I'll focus on this side of the ball. But once again, people don't want to see it like that. I see things differently. I try to look at more of a bigger picture and go, why is this happening? Why did this occur? You're not going to hear. A lot of podcasters just don't. They don't see it like that. They just don't. Personally, I've never been a big fan of Beane. I want to see how he does without McDermott around, and maybe he'll change my mind. Yeah, and that's fair. That is fair. But but as a person, as an individual, I think Beane is a cool dude, man. I've seen nothing from Beane outside of that one thing that he said on WGR to make it sound like he's a douchebag, he's a bad guy, he's a fucking asshole. Like, the guy seems like like I said, once again, it's a fun dude, a good guy. He gets jokes. He goes on he's never afraid to go on talk shows, and you know what I mean. Like, I don't see anything like personal wise that makes him to be this big jerk or can't stand him. He's an asshole. Like, he doesn't come across that way to me, right? And a lot of people go that direction. Oh, he's an asshole. I don't see it. I don't. Why? One remark. I mean, I've said some fucked up things in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I've had bad, said some things I regret. Doesn't mean like that sticks with me forever. I'm just an evil person. He just bought into DJ Moore. Absolutely. Yeah. Bean was building the receiver through free agency instead of the draft. That's my biggest issue with him. Yes, but you got to remember, Roy, we've only drafted in the top 10 twice under Bean. Josh Allen and Ed Oliver. Now, I'm not saying you can't get a quality receiver late in the first round, but usually when you land in the top 15, top 10, you're getting what you're getting, right? You're getting one of the better receivers coming out in the draft, right? You're getting probably the second or third best receiver in the NFL draft compared to the, sixth best receiver in the NFL draft, right? And once again, I'm not saying they can't work out, but you get where I'm going with that, right? So it's easier said than done to get this stud receiver through the draft. Once again, not saying you can't, but if you're going to bring up guys like Puka Nacua, who got drafted in the 6th round, I mean, how many teams passed them up in the 6th round? Like, we're not alone. The team that drafted him passed them up, right? Until they finally got him in the 6th round. So like those occurrences, like, oh, okay, like, you can't kill the guy for that. And you can't kill him for the Stephon Diggs thing. And I get Justin Jefferson, but I don't think I think they thought Justin Jefferson was going earlier, which he should have, to Philly. Philly made a huge mistake, right? But either way, I don't even give a shit about that. Stephon Diggs was a playmaker. He got 1,000 yards every year he was here. And he came at the right time for Josh in 2020. I think that was a brilliant move, right? Cole Beasley and John Brown in 2019 was a really good move. And Cole Beasley was one of the better slot receivers in the NFL. You weren't going to find Cole Beasley in the draft, a guy like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a smart signing. Now, what I will say is this. After Cole Beasley and John Brown left or retired, and we were down to Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, I think after that Chiefs playoff loss where Gabe went off, I really think they thought they had something in Gabe, right? Where, man, this guy is still young. Look what he's doing. He's only getting better. And I think his mistake was being too comfortable with the receiver room at that point instead of continuing to add talent. You get what I'm saying? Khalil Shakir is a really good draft pick. He's not mentioned enough. Are you forgetting about Khalil Shakir? That's a good draft pick. He was the 4th round draft pick. Dude, like, if you were to redraft Khalil Shakir, he's probably going in the 2nd round. Like, he's a good receiver. One of the best yards after catch receiver, actually. But yeah, I think the mistake was after the Stephon Diggs trade was he probably should have went against McDermott's wishes and said, hey, we have to have a 1, right? We need a guy that Josh can really depend on. And instead, he went with probably what his coach wanted, McDermott, and the everybody eats philosophy, and let's go ahead and concentrate back on defense because defense is what's really hurting this team in the playoffs, because that's the truth. It is. Let's be real. That's the truth. and they kind of moved on from, looking for a receiver. And that kind of is on Bean a little bit too, because maybe he should have said, no, enough's enough especially after the first year without Diggs, when he had to trade for Cooper. Right there is when he should have went, oh man, I had to get Cooper. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we needed one. Because look what that guy did. And he was at the tail end of his prime. We got like very little out of whatever kind of little bit of juice was left in the tank out of Amari Cooper. But it was just enough to kind of show you how important it is to have that number one, because defenses, they will respect that guy, right? They understand what he brings to the table still. He still has something left in the tank. And then they went on again without a true number one the following year. And that's where, that's probably where he should have said enough is enough. And he didn't, The reason to say it's differently is because you've been following the Bills since 89. You've seen the ups and downs and knows when you have somebody who is good. I think that way also. Yeah, I've been watching for a long time. And look, there's a lot of fans in here too. And I'm sure Roy is one of them that have been watching maybe longer than me. I mean, I know some fans in here, like Scott's been watching since like the 70s or something. Like, I'm sure I'm not the oldest old head in the building as far as a fan goes, right? And watching this team's ups and downs and all that stuff. But, I try to look at the Bills like I look at life, right? I don't just rush into judgment without really kind of going, okay, why is this happening? Or why did this occur? Or, evaluating things. Like, that's why I always tell you guys, like, when I do these live reactions on like the draft or live instant reaction after games, I always say I want to do another show, a follow-up the following day, because when you do those at those times, you're kind of caught up in the moment. You don't really have time to like look at the film again or understand what you drafted, like the players and what they bring in their film, because we're so caught up in what we wanted, the players that we wanted, right? That we're like disappointed and it's a bad draft. And who is this guy, right? Like, we don't need that guy. Why did we draft that guy? And we're angry, right? And I'll admit, like, I fall in that category, but I also know the reality is the next day, study my ass off, evaluate the draft, understand what we got, understand what the defensive scheme that we're implementing is, right? And going, okay, why do they do this? Why is this player a good fit? Why would they do that? Right? And then going, oh, well, wait a minute here. Hold on. I think I was wrong on this draft pick. I think he's better than I think. I could see this guy actually being a starter. And initially I thought, what the hell are we doing? So, like, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of games that when we play, I'm like, oh, this guy did terrible, or this guy didn't do this well. I'll go back and watch the game again, or watch film, or do the film review on NFL.com thing. They got that the 60 thing, and I'm like, damn, I was wrong. right. I was totally wrong. The guy actually did a good job. Like, so, a lot of people don't do that. I've been watching since Joe Ferguson. See, I told you, there's some old heads in here. Who would you like to see back? Shaq or Cooks? See, the thing with Cooks is he's not a bad receiver. Like, the dude can get open. He's a good route runner, right? And Josh and him started to get somewhat of a connection. The problem I have with Cooks is his hands, man. Like, the dude has like stone hands. For what I like, it just seemed like every throw that was thrown to him seemed difficult for him. He bobbled the ball a lot. I mean, the very first game he bobbled, like, he was just bobbling the ball, like. So the problem, like I said, the problem with him is, can I trust him as a receiver, right? And I don't know if I can. he would be a cheap pickup. Would I rather him over Palmer? Yes. Because he at least proved to me they can do a little bit. He can provide a little bit more than Palmer, right? He could provide a little bit more than Palmer. And Palmer we're paying a decent amount of money to. And he's never on the field. And when he's on the field, he didn't do anything. So now as far as Shaq Thompson, no. I appreciate what he did last year for us, and he did a good job. But he's an aging veteran. Right now, I believe they really like what they see in Elarms. Or we still got Dorian. Terrell Bernard, I think, is going to have a better year. He just needs to stay healthy. But we'll see. I think what they're going to wind up doing is waiting for cut day as camp rolls on and teams are, getting down to their 53. There's going to be surprise cuts. There's going to be there's also free agents still out there kind of lingering around that the Bills might, sign. There's also going to be some injuries in camp. It always happens. So right now, while we are chilling and waiting for this training camp to begin, which is about, 4 weeks away, I don't think there's anything that's going to be done. And that goes for a lot of teams right now. But also a side note, and I told you guys this, and Mikey, he said no way, it's not going to happen. Now it hasn't happened yet, but Osiris Torrance and the Buffalo Bills are in talks of an extension. That's a good sign. And I told you guys that you have to keep your offensive linemen, your good ones, in-house. You cannot keep cycling through offensive linemen. The trenches are so important. They are so goddamn important. And for people that think Osiris Torrance is a better run blocker than pass blocker, that is true, but he's not a terrible pass blocker either. He's only given up 3 sacks in total in his career. That's pretty damn good. And I don't think he's reached the ceiling yet. He's young. He's only getting better. Why would you break that up? It's very tough to find offensive linemen that can do that. That are reliable. By the way, too, reliable. The dude doesn't miss games. You want to keep that core going, right? And you also want to pay your guys that have produced. And Brandon Beane has shown to do that. Every guy that he's drafted, for the most part, he has paid, right? They produce, he pays. And Osiris Torrance has produced, just like Spencer Brown, who he paid, just like Deion Dawkins, who he paid. And I know Connor McGovern's not a draft pick, but he's a guy that he signed into free agency a couple years back. He produced and he paid. You keep Osiris Torrance in-house, all you got to figure out is that left guard position, right? You figure that out, you find that guy, and now you got your core set. You don't need to worry about offensive line. You have your guys set in place. Not only that, they all know each other. They've been playing next to each other for the last 2 or 3 years, right? You want to keep that trend going. Once you start playing musical chairs on the offensive line, you're fucked. You are fucked. And we know exactly what that's about because we were living through that from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. I mean, we did not have good offensive line play. We were constantly guys in and out, constantly guys shuffling guys in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. You can't have that. You cannot have that, especially on the offensive line. You want to protect Josh Allen. You want to keep that dude standing. You want to run block for James Cook. Why do you think James Cook, and it's not a knock on James Cook. James Cook's a really good running back. But James Cook is also reaping the benefits of having a good offensive line. Let's not miss that. These guys are doing a hell of a job opening up gaps for him to go through. Right? You got a bad offensive line. Your running back ain't doing shit unless he's Barry Sanders. And we don't, no offense to James Cook, he's not Barry Sanders. Okay? Got to keep those guys in place. And I'm glad that they have come out and said they are talking about they're working together on getting a deal done. You got to get that deal done. The faster you get that deal done, by the way, the cheaper it's going to be in the long run. I'm telling you, That's the best way to do it. Get the deal done early. Don't wait around. Don't fuck around. Get it done. Get it over with. And now you got the dude here long term. Right? Now you don't even need to worry about the offensive line. Just figure out that left guard position. Let's see here. I think most Bills fans still don't believe we still don't have a real number one receiver. I don't understand why we're not more excited about Moore. He's a true number one. Yeah. And I'll talk about that in a second, by the way. I'll bring that. And I've talked about it multiple times, but I'll bring it up again. Shaq only because I think the wide receiver room is better this year and the line runback's not. Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well, but I think bringing back Shaq, to be honest with you, I don't want to really bring back any former Bills. The only player I bring back former Bills is Stephon Diggs. And they have to be a 1-year deal because it just seems like that's where he's at right now in his career. And I know he could produce, right? Shaq Thompson at his age, and I mean, he did good last year, but he didn't do great, right? Like, there's a reason why he's a free agent still, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, there's other linebackers out there that are probably I would want more than a Shaq Thompson, to be honest with you. Any extensions, torn signs wouldn't kick until next season if it happens. Maybe that's an indication that Dawkins won't be back in 2027. That works being extremely expensive O-line if not. Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, Deion's getting older. He knows this. We know this. I don't think he had a terrible season last year, but I'll say this about Deion. Deion's been productive throughout his time here. And he's another player that I don't, that I think Bills Mafia is getting too critical on about. I don't think he deserves it. You got a guy that, for the most part, has been healthy throughout his career, which is, once again, tough to get, especially on offensive line. He's been reliable. He's been a top 100 player in this league for a reason. One of the best tackles in the league for a little while. Did he have a little off year last year? He did. There was plays I was like, damn, what happened there? But it could also be age as well. He's been in the league since 2017. Maybe his better years are behind him, but we'll see what he does this year. Let's see what he does, and maybe that's what they're waiting to see. If Deion regresses, or does he take a step forward, right? He did lose some weight, right? Which should help him, which is good for him that he acknowledged that. So we'll find out. I'm not done yet with Deion. He's been our most reliable offensive lineman for quite some time. I don't think he's our best anymore, but I don't think he's this guy that we need. Oh my God, got to get rid of Deion. Like, it's not the time. So we'll find out. Get it done now. I would. I would. Deion, I'm not willing to part ways yet. I know they're going to have to figure that out soon, though. And like I said, this season's kind of an important one for Deion because if he regresses or just doesn't really, or maybe stays where he was, his play like it was last year, which wasn't terrible, but he regressed a little bit last year. But if he doesn't take a step forward this season, then yeah, they're going to have to start thinking about his replacement, right? And that's easier said than done. That's the problem too, right? Finding that type of talent at that position, they just don't fall off trees. You know what I mean? Like, so, but eventually they do have to, think about that, and maybe through the draft or free agency, and then, move on. But we'll find out. We'll see what kind of year Deion has this year. I'm showing up a little late. I wonder if you had any opinion on Keon Coleman. Terrible butt, and why they are still holding on to him. Okay, so I'm guessing you think So you think he's terrible? Keon, boy, oh boy. So this is tough for me because I wanted the Bills to draft Keon Coleman. I did a video on why the Bills should draft Keon Coleman. And they went ahead and drafted Keon Coleman. I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, the Bills are listening to me, right? Here's the problem with Keon. He's a second round pick for a reason. That's one. He wasn't this top five receiver coming out of the draft, right? You know, I felt like there was things that he needed to improve on coming out of college. I think the Bills understood that as well. But I think what the Bills didn't really maybe see happening was his immaturity. And the problem was early on with the immaturity is you had a head coach in Sean McDermott who was not going to let that fly. And by the way, I don't think any coach should let it fly. But once you get in the doghouse, you're in the doghouse of Sean McDermott. And, you know, I don't think Keon's been terrible, but he hasn't helped himself either with being immature, right? And not only that, when you miss practice, when you miss meetings or late to meetings, you're really like you're hurting your team, right? Like your team is those are your brothers, right? That's your fam. And if you're just one of the guys that are just like, you don't give a fuck because you're, you know, maybe you're frustrated with your not getting the ball, you know, thrown your way, or, you know, there's not a lot of play calls for you. Like, listen, it's a team sport. Like, worry about that later, right? Like when you're a free agent or in the offseason, ask for a trade if you feel like you could be useful somewhere else, right? If you're not going to be used the right way here. But don't affect your team by, you know, not showing up or showing up late. Like, that stuff he needs to grow up and understand. But I don't think he's terrible. Like, I think he's limited, right? And what he can do. But there's some good qualities in Keon Coleman. He does do stuff well. And I don't think they've used him properly either in the system. Now, Joe Brady stuck up for him this offseason. Joe Brady said he was really high on Keon Coleman. He wanted Keon Coleman in the draft. So he's doubling down on that. And what we all got to hope for, because I don't think Keon's going anywhere, you know, until his rookie deal's done, is that here, you know, Keon sees this as another opportunity, a fresh start in a way, with a coach that believes in him. He's no longer in a doghouse, and a coach that maybe is going to figure out how to get the best out of Keon Coleman. Now, with all that being said, if we go into the season and Keon Coleman is not, you know, is taking plays off, right, like he did last year at times, is showing up late to meetings, like we're hearing stuff like that again, is being a healthy scratch on game day, then that's a wrap. It's over, right? And that's a problem for Keon, because other GMs around the NFL are going to look at this and go, damn, this dude got another opportunity with another head coach who's an offensive head coach that believed in him, kept him, and he still did what he did with the other coach. Why would I sign this guy? And he's going to blow his chance in the NFL, because I don't think Keon Coleman stays a Buffalo Bill, even if he has a decent season this year, right? But if he puts out good film and GMs see that he's a team guy, he's going to get another opportunity somewhere else. That's just the way it works. Zay Jones got an opportunity. The dude ran naked through a damn hotel, busted through glass. But he came back that same year and did everything right. And he got an opportunity, went and got a contract with the Jaguars and actually did okay. And I think he's still in the NFL. So if you could prove yourself to be a team guy team player, you'll have a job in the NFL. He's not a terrible receiver. He'll find work. But if he's still immature and doing the bullshit he was doing, there's teams aren't going to give him an opportunity because he's not a special talent. He's just he's a player that has some some stuff that you can use on your offense, but outside of that, he's not like this. Oh my God, maybe some immaturity there, man. But he's so great, we got to sign him. No. Just saying having for high paid players on the O line is tough on the cat. I don't give a fuck. What I care about, Roy, is protect. Listen, everything happens in the trenches. Everything. You watch football long enough. You're an old head like me. I mean, even older, right? You've been watching a long time. If your offensive line is wacky, it's off, it's not good. Your quarterback's going to be hitting the ground a lot more. Your running backs are going to have a difficult time finding holes. It's going to be tough. You give time to that quarterback to throw the ball. You give spaces for those running backs. Your offense is going to thrive. Even with a good quarterback. How about a great quarterback in Josh Allen? How about a almost great running back, maybe possibly in James Cook? And you have a good to great offensive line. I mean, look at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm not comparing our offensive line to the Cowboys' offensive line. But if you look at those Super Bowl Cowboy teams and those offensive line, look how great Emmitt Smith was. Now, Emmitt Smith's a great running back. I'm not saying it isn't. But boy, oh boy, the Cowboys made him the all-time rushing yardage in the NFL. Most yards. Like, put Barry on that team. Barry probably maybe doubles that. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, offensive line, super duper important. You have a bad one, good luck, right? Your quarterback's going to be running for his life. Your running back's going to be getting destroyed in the backfield. Got to have an offensive line. And if you have to pay for it, you have to pay for it. That's okay. I mean, matter of fact, if you look at Peyton Manning in Denver, it had to be that way. Denver's offensive line was really good. And you had to be, because Peyton Manning, at that point, I mean, his whole career, he's slow, but at that point, even slower, with a neck, fucked up neck. And look, they went out and won a Super Bowl, right? And I know their defense played a part of that, but their offensive line also played a major part in that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have that. You start fucking around with the offensive line, it's not a good thing. Keon was terrible in the role he was made to play. I think you could say that. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, though, and I think that's what they're doing. Like, I want to see what Keon can do with a coach that is maybe believing in him a little bit more than the previous, right? And I'm hoping for Keon's sake that he sees this as a fresh start and puts the work in. That's all I could say. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh man, Keon's going to be, fantastic this year. Like, I don't, I'm with you. I can't say that because I haven't seen it from him in the 2 years. I also could tell you, though, he hasn't been terrible either. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot worse receivers out there. I'm just saying, right? So, very interested to see what he does this year, and we'll go from there. But Keon Coleman is not the focal point of this offense, right? Let's be honest here. DJ Moore is the guy. Khalil Shakir is the second guy. You know what I mean? And hopefully, in time, Skylar Bell will be that other option. And I think it will be. If he can stay healthy. If whatever's going on with that hamstring, he has to figure out. Let's see if he can get it together. I think Keon could do really better. He can. Like, you've seen like moments where he's made some really good plays for the Bills. He made some fantastic catches. You could see there's, he has the ability to be a good receiver. At least a quality 3, right? Let's be real. He could be a quality 3. Let's not kill him. Damn, we are 2 hours in. I told you, might be a long one tonight, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So DJ Moore. Yeah, I don't get it. So I know you mentioned him earlier. And I was, when I evaluate like players, especially players, it's not, and I say this a lot, it's not always about like the stats. Like stats can lie, right? Like, or stats don't always tell the whole story, right? They don't paint the whole picture. And that goes for good and bad, right? Like when you see a quarterback have on paper, let's say he had 3 interceptions in the game, you're probably thinking, oh man, right off the bat without watching the game, oh man, like 3 interceptions, that's terrible. But if you don't watch the game, how do you not know the ball didn't go, 2 of those passes hit the receiver's hands and bounced off and went into an interception? It's happened. I've seen it multiple times. But on the paper, right, on the box score, you're like, terrible interception. Guy throws interceptions like crazy. Like, that's not always the case, right? There's always more to it sometimes. And sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes, yeah, bad throw. But when I'm talking like other stats, right, and we're looking at players like, and I'll bring it up, Eric Moulds, right? Eric Moulds and DJ Moore fit in the same category of what if. Because if Eric Moulds, who put up almost 10,000 yards in Buffalo, nearly 1,000, I think he averaged pretty much 1,000 yards a season almost with Buffalo on average, right? The dude had I think 7 different starting quarterbacks. By the way, none of them good. He got the best out of Drew Bledsoe in 2002. That was it. Whatever Drew Bledsoe had left in the tank was in 2002. And same with Flutie. Whatever that magical season that Flutie kind of had with us, where Flutie was, we were all cheering for Flutie, and him and Moulds had a little connection thing. But once again, we're talking 1 year of those guys. That was it, gone. All the other quarterbacks were terrible, awful, right? Not to mention different head coaches. So once again, like when people also mention Eric Moulds and different quarterbacks, they don't mention the head coaches and how many that came through here. When you do that, right, you're also bringing in new coordinators, offense coordinators who have what? A new vision, a new scheme. Same thing with the head coach, new scheme, new vision, what they want in their offense, what they want their offense to look like, to be like, right? And when you're a player on the offensive side, right, or even defense, whatever, you're going to the next season going, all right, now we're doing this, right? Now it's not this, now it's this. Now I don't have that quarterback. I got this quarterback who likes to throw this way. Now I got to build a chemistry with this guy that I've never caught a ball from. But yet, with all that being said, this guy still puts up top numbers for his team. That tells me everything I need to know about that player. Because if you could do it with that and all those things piling on him, and all bad things, and still produce, that tells me that player is a great player. And not only that, a good teammate, right, who's sticking around. So when I look at DJ Moore, right, DJ Moore's had 10 quarterbacks, 10 throughout his time in his career, 10 different starting quarterbacks. That is amazing. Eric Moulds had 7. This guy had 10. 7 different head coaches, I believe. Multiple offensive coordinators. That means multiple different playbooks, different schemes, quarterbacks throwing a different kind of way. Got to build chemistry. And for DJ Moore to put up the numbers that he's put up since his time being in the league is awesome. And he doesn't get enough love for that. And I respect the hell out of players that could put up that kind of number and do those things with all that going around, with all that happening around them, right? It's not easy. Like, I would love to talk to players that were in that predicament. That's why I would love to have Eric Molds on this show to kind of, tell you guys about how it is and how it felt to be a player in those predicaments while all that's going on. Your team's sucking ass, different quarterbacks, different coordinators, different quarterback receivers, coaches, head coach with a different vision, like all of that, and you still produce and you don't get the love. I don't understand it. And that's why I don't get why fans aren't thrilled and excited to have DJ Moore here, considering everything I just said. Go back, look at the stats, understand who he played with, how many quarterbacks, how many coaches, how many coordinators, and then go, damn, he did all that with that? Imagine what he can do with this. It's simple. It's just like that. But, I think Bills Mafia sometimes, they just want, if it's not a player they didn't want, if it's not a player that, that they wanted, they're not happy. Right? If it's not a draft pick that they had in mind, they're not happy. It's kind of turning into that now. Oh, we didn't get Justin Jefferson. Oh, DJ Moore. Bleh. Right? I don't get it. I just don't understand it. If we went out and got another Palmer, I would get the frustration. I would say, what the fuck are we doing? Right? But we went out and got a quality one. A proven one. A guy that is proven that he can work in any system with any quarterback, any coach, and any offensive coordinator. He has proven that. What the hell else does he have to prove? Let's see here. Pies are coming in. Bro, I'm fucking pumped about DJ. Best we had since Diggs. Absolutely. And that's what I like to hear. Thank you for the appreciate the comment, man. Yeah, dude, like that. I wish I just wish Bills fans would just appreciate what is in the building right now, what we have on the roster, instead of complaining about what we don't, or, what they feel like we should have. And it's not good enough when we got guys like DJ Moore here, who, if we had over the last 2 years, who knows what this team could have achieved. Like, that's the kind of player he is, right? And now you got him in the building, and now it's not good enough. I don't understand. I really, truly don't understand it. It's mind-boggling to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not too worried if Moore only finishes the year with 800 or 900 yards. What I'm happy is Josh finally has someone he can rely on in the playoffs. So, and it's a good point. And this is a point that I've also brung up multiple times. I'm with you on that. And I do think he actually gets 1,000 yards, but that's not my concern. Getting 1,000, that's great, and I'll be saying, "Oh, wow, look, you see that DJ Moore?" But what I feel that's been missing over the last 2 years since Diggs has been gone, it's not so much about the yardage; it's more about having a go-to guy when we need a play made, right? And really, for Josh, because if you go back in time and you go back to Diggs, Beasley, those two in general, he knew when we were in an important situation, a must-have play to be made, he had two guys that he knew that he could depend on, no matter what, right? And the coordinator, Brian Dable, understood this as well, dialed it up for him. Over the last 2 years, the problem's been this. We don't have that guy. Josh didn't know who he was going to go to. It was always somebody different, right? And I like Shakir, and I like Dalton Kincaid. I think those dudes, like Dalton Kincaid, if he can stay healthy, he absolutely could be a top 5 tight end. Problem is staying healthy. But point being, you still got to have that guy that Josh knows. It's third and long. I need this play. I got to have it happen, right? Who can I rely on? DJ Moore. I know I can, right? I'm going his way because I know he's going to come down with the ball, right? That's what he did with Stephon Diggs, right? Multiple times. That's what he did with Cole Beasley multiple times. Many games, big plays need to happen. Those guys are the ones that Josh can rely on. He knows if he throws their way, they're going to make a play. We haven't had that over the last 3 years. Got to have that, and we got it back. You know, once they build that chemistry, it's on. It's on. Right? If you go back in time in 2020, Josh and Diggs, once they built that chemistry, and they got that early on, it was on. That's it. Right? Because Josh already had chemistry with Cole. Cole was that security blanket. Right? When things broke down, Cole Beasley was always the guy that he could rely on. But then when you got Stephon Diggs in 2020, now you got that guy that you're building chemistry with. You got it early on. Now you got the best of both worlds. You got your slot and your receiver one, who's also making Cole Beasley's job a lot easier, right? Because teams are doubling up Stephon, paying attention to Stephon a little bit more. Now you got DJ Moore in the building. Guess what teams are going to do? They got to respect DJ Moore. That opens it up for Khalil Shakir. That opens it up for Dalton Kincaid a little bit more. That opens up for even Keon Coleman. It's the reality. It's how it works. DJ is a beast and has never missed a game. Yeah, that too. DJ Moore is that dude, knock on wood, has been healthy throughout his career. Very reliable. A guy that is there on game days. I remember when the Bills traded for Vince Ferragamo. Quite the opposite from all the Eric Moles of. I don't even know who the hell Vince Ferragamo is. Moore is definitely getting over 1,000. I can't guarantee that. Not even a question of doubt. They'll see. I do think he'll get 1,000. I do. He doesn't miss, like somebody said earlier, doesn't miss games. Throughout his career, he's been healthy. And he's been a go-to guy. Even in Chicago last year, where he didn't have his best statistical season, if you ask Bears fans, which I have, and even when you listen to their local Bears media and guys, podcaster, when plays needed to be had or made in that season last year for the Bears, DJ Moore was the guy. They were drawing plays up for DJ Moore when there was a must-needed play, right? And I think DJ Moore got an award, right, for the catch of the year or some shit against Green Bay. They're going to him for a reason there. They're not going to anybody else. Despite him not having his best statistical season, he's still the guy that they depended on the most out of everybody else on that offense. It was DJ Moore. And there's a reason for it. Because you throw it his way, he's going to make a play. That's what makes him special. He's a well-rounded receiver. Great route runner, great hands, good speed, good separation, physical. He's everything you want in a receiver. And Bills fans just don't see it that way. Or not all of them, but there's a lot that I feel like they just wanted a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, and everybody else is trash. And it's unfair. And I will say this: a lot of those fans that are not liking the DJ Moore trade are going to change their minds as the season goes on and understand what DJ Moore can provide for this team. What Ferragamo is a quarterback of the Rams. Ferragamo. Hey. Well,
Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, I don't know Ferragamo. In the playoffs, he was the most important player. That's why the Bills took him. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I'm going too far back for you, Tommy. Is that the leather helmet days? I don't know. Bills took him because he showed up in the playoffs. Yep. Bro, DJ and Diggs will be a dude. That's why I said I don't hate. Listen, if they decided to bring Diggs back for 1 year, go for it. I'm amazed too. That's the other thing. Like Bills fan, like it's about 50-50. Bills like 50-50 as far as bringing Diggs back. Some Bills fans are like, oh no way, bro. I wouldn't want that guy back. Fuck him. And there's others that like me that go, why not? What are you kidding me? Like we're acting like this guy's a scrub or like he did some dirty things in Buffalo. Like we can never have this guy back in Buffalo. He was so terrible. Like no, like Sean McDermott and Diggs did not get along. There's a reason. That's the reason. Now was Diggs perfect here as far as personality? Could he handle things a little differently on social media and stuff like that in the offseason? Sure, of course. But listen, diva receivers kind of bring that. We know that. It's the history of the receiving position, right? Like, that's what they do, right? A lot of these divas. So it's kind of expected, right? But I never heard anything bad out of the locker room for Stephon Diggs, or there's these fights or Stephon Diggs, like, not showing up to training camp. Like, the dude worked hard, man. Once that whistle blew, that dude was bringing everything that he had, right? Like, he didn't take playoffs off. Like, that dude was a good receiver, and he proved that last year by getting 1,000 yards with the Patriots. Is he a true number one still? But is he borderline one? Yeah, probably. Would I take him as a 2? Yeah. Absolutely. For a 1-year deal? Of course. Of course. You mean Lou Ferrigno? No, it was 1985. Once again, I didn't watch football until 89. Now, look, I respect some of the old heads. I get it, right? Mike Ditka, Barry the Fridge, Singletary, O.J. Simpson, Dan Phelps. So I get it, all right? But, I started watching football in 89, so, like, I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. Oh, man. All right, let's get into it. So where are we at? 2 hours and 30 minutes. All right, I'll have to skip some of these. So this one's an interesting article here. It's not even long. I'll just kind of get into it, and I kind of understand where he's going with this. So this one is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He had like a interview with The Athletic, and says why C.J. Gardner-Johnson keeps changing teams and why he thinks the NFL gets him wrong. His trash talkings, antics, and ball hawking prowess have caused those around him to react abruptly. His belligerence prompted 2 opposing receivers, plus New Orleans Saints teammates Michael Thomas at practice to throw punches at him. Every boss Gardner-Johnson played for has either traded him, declined to re-sign him, or released him. When the versatile defensive back signed a 1-year, $3.5 million contract with the Buffalo Bills in March, it made his seventh roster in 3.5 years and 4th in the last 15 months, despite being among the NFL's most dangerous takeaway artists. A ruthless trash talker, skeleton rattling tackler, and a serial confrontationist. Gardner-Johnson, or maybe more accurately, his volcanic alter ego, CD Deuce, wears people out. He's been accused of being self-absorbed, too much of a locker room lawyer, unwilling to hold himself accountable. His welcome eroded in New Orleans after he was excused from training camp practices amid a contract squabble. His second term with Philly included public friction with star cornerback Darius Slay. Gardner-Johnson has been named the NFL's most annoying player and biggest trash talker in the Athletics Anonymous annual player polls. I gotta fucking read that. I wonder if that's out. I gotta see if I can pull that up one show. He also has been fined 13 times for $194,000 in his 7 NFL seasons. Beyond his rookie contract, he hasn't been anywhere longer than his season. Last year alone, the Houston Texans dumped him after 3 games. The Ravens cut him from their practice squad after a week before he finally stuck with the Bears. He says, this is a scary statement for me. I make plays and still don't know my future, Gardner Johnson said. Guys who make plays have guaranteed futures. You've got guys running people over in their cars, DUIs, killing people, hitting females. I make plays, but they say we're only going to keep you for 3 months out of the year. Gardner Johnson, however, has won almost everywhere he's been, with 5 different defensive coordinators, countless defensive schemes, and all the various ways he has been used. Gardner Johnson teams never have posted a losing record. They missed the playoffs only once. He helped the Eagles reach the Super Bowl in 2022, was not re-signed, then was brought back 2 years later for their Lombardi Trophy run. For a recent interview with The Athletic in the Bills Fieldhouse, Gardner Johnson didn't want to sit. He wanted to walk while he talked. For the next half hour, he paced along the practice field frequently, stopping when he wanted to emphasize his point. One of the narratives is, I'm a cancer in the locker room, Gardner Johnson said. That just came out when? After Houston? Where was this at? Where was that after the Super Bowl loss? Where was that after the Super Bowl win? When we do our homework and really think about it, where have I been a cancer? My grandma always told me you need to be patient to be cocky. That's just what it is. I've been patient enough to be blessed, patient enough to win a Super Bowl. That's my ultimate goal. I've been slapped in the face by the business so many times to the point where it's like, I don't look at other guys no more. I look at myself and how I can affect things. Just go in the building, make plays. The disconnect has followed Gardner Johnson throughout his career. He's a Super Bowl champion, one of the game's most passionate players, and a proven difference maker. Yet, every stop he's been has been relatively short, often ending in a complicated breakup. Can that change in Buffalo? Gardner Johnson is his own best hype man. He brags in part because he doesn't think he has gotten the praise he deserves. In the process, he occasionally exaggerates his accomplishments. He repeatedly claimed he has led the NFL in interceptions twice. He tied for the 2022 title and tied for the third in 2024 with 6 interceptions each season. He also widened his resume to include almost achievements. He claimed he should have won 3 Super Bowl rings, citing Jared Cook's fumble against the Buccaneers in the playoff following the 2020 season in atrocious field conditions when the Chiefs edged the Eagles in State Farm Stadium. You can't name no other safety in the NFL that has done what I've done, Gardner Johnson said. Go look at the body of work. Gardner Johnson has gone by many names. He was Chauncey Gardner at the University of Florida, added Johnson in honor of his stepfather, and became known as CJ as a Saints rookie. His rapper persona goes by SOG CD. Gardner Johnson is vague when explaining another nickname, CD Deuce. The alter ego, he says, emerges only for games. I just don't want anybody to talk to me as CD Deuce, Gardner Johnson said. When I'm on the field, that's when it'll come out. Somebody would have to bring it out of me. You got to get me pissed. People in the NFL always be like, oh, why do you got so many names? Well, I went through a lot of shit. So I had to separate who I was to where I feel like CD is a person that nobody ever wants to see. If you ever want to meet him, you might be in trouble. That's why I keep away from it. As he continued to pace and talk in the Bills' practice facility, he carried his helmet by the face mask with white Nike cleats stuffed inside. He writes reminders on them. Near the swooshes are trust him, all action, no words, and no regrets on each heel. Is EOM. Eyes on me, he explained, for my kids. My kids are watching me, so I've got to be the best me. I've got to be the best dad, the best student, the best whatever it may be. Whether they can see me or can't see me, those eyes are always on me. Asked for kids' names. He grabbed a notepad and jotted them down along with their age, 15, 12, 7, 3, 3, 2, and 1. Gardner Johnson is 28. The math is impossible to ignore. How did he handle it? That's one part of his life he doesn't choose to talk about. Don't worry about that, I replied. I told you I had to go through some shit. I was young, 13, 14, really going through a lot, but that don't bother me. In July 2025, after the Eagles traded him, and before he and the Texans got crossways, Gardner Johnson appeared on the Pivot podcast with co-hosts and former NFL players Fred Taylor, Ryan Clark, and Channing Crowder to discuss all the controversy that follows him. The interview began with Gardner Johnson addressing and denying an ex-girlfriend's claim that he put out a hit on New York Giants receiver Malik Neighbors. The third topic detailed the vulgar hoodie Gardner Johnson wore in the Eagles championship parade to troll Taylor Swift fans. The hour-long podcast was another reminder of the outrageousness that ensues wherever he goes and why he doesn't stay in one place long. I did the Pivot interview, and people said, "Oh, he's crazy. We told you that's why Philly got rid of him. That's my life," Gardner Johnson told The Athletic. "That's why I say fuck my critics. I love the media, but I truly don't know what's going to happen next. They put something out and people go, well, you said this. I did. I apologize. If I'm going to jail for it, let me know. Past couple years, I just try to stay out of the way." But he doesn't always succeed in keeping thoughts to himself in the moment or when looking back. Gardner Johnson seemed to take glee in what he considers as the dismantling of the Philadelphia championship squad. The Eagles on June 1st traded star receiver A.J. Brown to the Patriots. Gardner Johnson also chided them for losing free agent safety Reed Blankenship to the Texans as a roundabout replacement for himself. Saquon Barkley, I hope you're happy, Gardner Johnson said. You see that the band's getting broken up. ESPN reported that he struggled to learn DeMarco Ryan's defensive scheme, was at fault for several costly coverage breakdowns, and refused to take responsibility for his mistakes, rubbing his teammates the wrong way. Houston's Channel 2 reported Gardner Johnson exhausted the team by complaining about his role, requesting a trade, and criticizing teammates, notably the size of one player's contract. That's a lie, Gardner Johnson said. I never said shit about nobody's contract. I'm on a $33 million deal. Why the fuck would I talk about somebody's contract? Gardner Johnson said his experience with the Texans began to go south at training camp in West Virginia, where he said he got into a confrontation with the GM's friend. If y'all are going to cut me, Gardner Johnson said. But I'll give nobody reasons to cut me. I haven't. I don't. I'm not a cancer. There's nobody in this locker room that says Chauncey's a problem. The media loves me. The only thing that I'll do is it is something that triggers somebody that has a say in the building that can alter somebody else's mind. That happens. That happens every time. That's how I got cut in Houston. One person that's not technically a part of the organization called me a B word bitch at Greenbrier. I get out my body. He says something to the GM, and the next thing, I'm cut. The Texans declined to comment. The Ravens signed Gardner Johnson on October 7th, the same day they traded outside linebacker Odafe Oweh and a 7th round draft choice for the Chargers. Going playing at Notre Dame, blah, blah, blah. It says, how does that sound, Gardner said. Gardner Johnson said, stretching his arms out wide with his palms up. They sign you in the middle of the night with the plan for you to play that week. Then literally 14 hours later, they trade you for a safety and tell you, oh, we're going to start him and keep you on the practice squad. I'm a Super Bowl champion. He signed with the Chicago Bears 2 weeks later, a move that reunited him with the Saints defense coordinator, Dennis Allen. In 11 games, including the playoffs, Gardner Johnson recorded 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a career-high 3 sacks. But he knew he wouldn't be back. I'm a firecracker. But let's take the body of work. Never legally been in trouble. Never physically harmed a person, Gardner Johnson said. But I haven't been a captain ever in my life. They say, you got to lead the right way. My definition of leading is winning. There's a lot of captains in this league, and I want this to come out. That's just for jersey sales. I could show you 3-4 captains right now that I wouldn't get behind. Why would I get behind anybody that doesn't believe in himself? I played for plenty of false captains, but I got to fake it. Like, that's my leader. I'll lead by my actions on the field. That C don't make me. Because when somebody comes up to me on the sideline and says, we need a play from you, that lets me know everything I need to know. Gardner Johnson is proud of his community service. 2 days after making his Bears debut last season, Gardner Johnson began making appearances around the Chicagoland area for his CD Cares Foundations. It says, when I win Walter Payton Man of the Year, I'm going to thank everybody who doubted me, Gardner Johnson said. That's everybody until now. People are already thinking I'm going to get cut from Buffalo. Let's see here. It says we talk about just making sure. You got to be a good teammate, being said. We don't want any cheap shots in practice or anything like that. You want to keep it between the lines, but you do want his edge. The Bills needn't worry whether Gardner Johnson will deliver in that regard. Bills defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard has spoken about how loud, energetic, and involved Gardner Johnson has been despite being a newcomer. He loves football, right? Leonhard said. The day-to-day, the workouts, the meeting, he's a guy who loves being in the building. He's trying to be a leader, man. He really wants to be that. So it's exciting being able to work with guys that really want to be in front of the room and talk and hold people accountable. Gardner Johnson is wearing number 22 with Buffalo because it's what he wore in New Orleans while fighting to establish himself. I feel like a kid again, Gardner Johnson said. I feel like me again. I feel like the kid who got drafted and had to prove himself again. Gardner Johnson was asked if he ever felt truly appreciated. He paused for a few seconds and said, Buffalo is the only place so far. He expressed gratitude that Moore and Robertson vouched for him and said it felt good to hear how badly secondary coach Joe Dana and free agent edge rusher Bradley Chubb wanted him. Gardner Johnson made a long-term prediction with a caveat underscored by short-term existence. It's humbling. I've got to be humble, Gardner Johnson said. I got to be grateful because you don't know, but shit can change. You got to look at how they did the offseason here. Everybody got a nice little deal except me. That's not a shot at the organization. That's more so offering me a chance to get what them guys got. I'm going to win the next 2 out of 3 Super Bowls. How? Look where they placed me at. Look who's my quarterback. If I got a fucking fighting chance, it's over with. And that's it. That's the end of that article. Sorry, it was a long article, but it's a good one. It was definitely a good article. Let me get rid of that one. And let me get to the chat. We need a Cesar Gardner Johnson. It's time for the Bills to stop being the nice guys. Let's get some dogs out here and make it happen. Absolutely. That's why context is so important. Yeah. So, look, he has great points. And why has he, been on so many teams in such a short period of time? I don't know, right? And maybe he doesn't know, right? And maybe it is him being too much of a guy that is, voicing his opinion loudly or whatever. But for me, he's right. It's about what you do on the field. And if he's producing, right, and he is helping your team win games, not only win games, Super Bowls for the Eagles, for me, that's a player I want on my team, regardless of how loud he can get, how confident he may be in himself. That's the kind of players I want on my team. And I don't know why, like I said, once again, I don't know why he's been on so many teams for short term. But, he's also right about, hey, I've never been in trouble. I don't have off-field issues. I'm a good person in the community. And I'm looked at a very negative, looked at negatively, right? And it's weird, and I don't feel it's fair. That's kind of where he's coming from, and I understand it. And, when we signed him, and I talked to my co-host, Mikey, I said, look, it sucks we only signed this guy for 1 year. But I get why, because it's weird that he's been on so many teams. And, I think GMs are probably cautious of that. And I understand, but I told Mikey, man, if this guy produces during this year, right, and everything is going as planned, you got what you got, right, and he's bringing what he normally brings. I'm really thinking about an early extension, some part of the season, during the season at some part of the season, because it would be terrible to have a guy that is producing and lose a guy after 1 year. You know what I mean? So I hope that they can come to an agreement at some point, because clearly you can, he talked about his contract and, he doesn't understand why it's so low, but he's going to go out there and show and earn his contract, meaning earn a future contract. And I'm sure he's hoping it's for the Bills. And I'm sure he's hoping, if it's not the Bills, it's someone else long-term. I'm sure he doesn't enjoy going from team to team to team. And not only that, when you're doing that so much, of course, like, you're going to get these articles, you're going to get these things said about you. People are going to wonder why is this continually happening to this player? And I'm sure he wants that, pushed away, right? If Buffalo could figure it out and he plays good for Buffalo and they can wind up signing him for maybe another 2 years, right? Then that narrative will shift away, right? It'll be gone, especially if we go and win a Super Bowl. I mean, then, yeah, the dude has all the rights to go, well, I told you. Now pay me. and it would be worth it. Just put your helmet on around him. No biggie. Yeah. I can already see the Bills shocking the NFL with the best defense in their first year. Yeah, dude, the defense is going to be nasty, bro. Like, I truly believe the defense is going to be night and day on what we have seen over the past, I would say at least 4 years, past 4 years, because it wasn't terrible for the first, 3.5, 4 maybe, and then it got bad. Okay, now, if you guys are with me still, we can keep going on. So I do have some cool stuff to go through. So they are doing the NFL Top 100. But CBS always puts theirs out. So I was going to go through that with you guys tonight. I could also skip that and do that Monday night with Mikey and go through the ESPN did ranking of the wide receivers, tight end, running back groups for 2026, best and worst. So we can do that. Let me see here. So we can actually do that. And we'll we'll do the top 100 on Monday. So let's do the ranking of the wide receivers and the tight end running back group. How about that? And we'll save the top 100 for Monday night uncensored. So let's do that. So let's see where the Bills rank according to ESPN. Mind you, this means nothing, right? Like, this is their rankings, right? So let's go ahead and go through that real quick. All right, ranking their wide receivers, tight end, running backs group for 2026, best and worst NFL teams. All right, here we go. All right, coming in at number 32 is the Miami Dolphins. In 2024, they ranked 3. In 2025, they ranked 10. They are now ranked 32, according to ESPN. I got to agree. They lost so many players. They lost anybody that really did anything except for their running back. They did give A-Chain an extension, but outside of that, they lost everybody. So I'm with that. 31 is the Giants. They're ranked 29th in 2024. 2025, they're ranked 26. So they're kind of hovering about where they've been. A little worse, but 30 is the Browns. 2024, they were ranked 20th. 2025, they were ranked 29th. So about where they've been, pretty much. Mina Khan has the Bills as the number 3 offense. Wow, okay. Let's see what ESPN has. All right. So 30 is the Browns. I did not read this list, by the way, so we'll find out what the Bills are. And here we go. They got the Bills as the 29th. That's not good. 2024, they're ranked 24th. 2025, ranked 28th. Let's see what they say about it. They say the Bills can count on legitimately great back in James Cook, whose vision, tackle breaking ability to create explosive plays by making players miss and running away from defenders at the second level is good as anybody in the NFL. The only downside with Cook comes with fumbles. He had 6 last season and added a 7th in the postseason loss to the Broncos. I think he'll clean that up, though. Even using his career average rate, Cook has fumbled once every 81 touches during the regular season. As a sign of how much that matters, Cook's fumbles were enough to suggest that a back who averaged 5.2 yards per carry and scored 12 times generated negative EPA as a rusher in 2025. So, yeah, he needs to clean that up. Beyond Cook, it remains difficult to get excited about Buffalo's receiving corps, even after the addition of DJ Moore. While some of the issues surrounding the decision to acquire Moore have to do with factors such as a trade value and contract terms, which aren't being considered here, there have to be real questions about whether Moore is still a difference maker as he turns 29. And after all, 2025 was comfortably Moore's worst season as a pro, as he fell down the priority list as receivers for the Bears as the year went along. Moore hasn't missed a game in 5 years, which is a positive, but he profiles as one of the least imposing top wideouts in the league. This would be the worst receiving corps on paper without Josh Allen on the other side of the passes. Khalil Shakir might have had some explosiveness sapped by his high ankle sprain in 2025, but he has settled in over the past 2 years as a solid slot receiver. Keon Coleman has been a major disappointment, and Josh Palmer didn't hit any new heights after joining Buffalo a year ago. Tight end Dalton Kincaid made it to his first Pro Bowl and was more efficient in 2025, but projections that he could be the high-volume man coverage beater the Bills have craved are yet to be proven, with injuries giving him problems. For all the Bills are spending at receiver, the same question still lingers. If Allen needs to throw for a first down to win a game, who should he trust to get open? Every team ranked above the Bills has at least one receiver that fans would bring up as an obvious answer for their quarterback. The Bills still somehow do not, and I disagree. DJ Moore is that guy. Like that, we just talked about it. So I totally disagree. Somebody is hating on us. Absolutely, I roll up. Absolutely. Kymson had Allen and Moore number 2 quarterback, wide receiver. So this is a running back, wide receiver, tight end. This ranking. That's what they're ranking it. So I totally disagree. I don't know how they Cook is one of the best running backs. He was the best running back last year. DJ Moore has been a proven number 1 and a quality number 1, a guy that absolutely can be the guy that Josh goes to when he needs a play to be made. He's proven that through his career. And Dalton Kincaid, if he can stay healthy, is proven he's one of the better tight ends in the NFL. He's up there. He's absolutely up there. So I don't know if I agree with them being so at 29 is one of the worst in the NFL. That is wild. So ESPN way off. And we're not going to read the rest. So I'm just going to go over the I'm not going to read what they say. I'll just go through the teams. 28 is the Panthers. 27 is Washington. 26 is the Raiders. 25 is the Titans. 24 is the Texans. 23 is the Broncos. 22 is the Bucks. 21 is the Steelers. 20 is the Chiefs. Chargers coming at 19. Jaguars at 18. 17 is the Packers. Who do you guys think is going to be number one? Put it in the comment section before I get there. Hopefully you guys put it in time. 16 is the Ravens. 15 is the Bears. 14 is the Colts. You think the Lions haven't been named yet? They're probably in the top 10. Number 13 is the Saints. 12 is the Jets. Seahawks at 11. Patriots at 10. Eagles at 9. Vikings at 8. Dallas at 7. Cowboys. Number 6 is the Cardinals. 49ers coming in at 5th. Man, the Lions are going to be maybe number 1, huh? Atlanta at number 4. No, the Rams are going to be number 1, I bet. Number 3 is the Bengals. That makes sense. Number 2, I bet it's the Rams. Wow. It's the Rams too? And the Lions are going to be 1. Okay. Interesting. See, I would put the Rams 1. I would put the Rams. I think the Rams have a better running back, wide receiver, tight end than, or the Lions have a better running back, receiver, tight end room than the Rams do. I mean, sorry, than the Lions. So I think the Lions should be second. I think the Rams should be first. They have they have a really good offensive, team. The Bills were top 5 offense the last 5 years. They were. They just didn't have their go-to guy over the last 2, and that they have fixed. ESPN is smoking their lunch again. It's typical ESPN fashion. Come the real season, they will be eating their own ones. And they always take shots at the Bills, and we won't win the division. This, that. We've heard it all, so it's not gonna. But I had to go through it. Why not? I got to see all the hype for DJ Moore from myself before I believe it, and that's fair. You know what I mean? But it's not hype, bro. It's and I'm not trying to hype DJ Moore up. I know you probably weren't here earlier when we were talking about DJ Moore, but I look at the body of work. I look at how many quarterbacks he's been with, how many different coaches and coordinators, and that tells me all that I need to know. Body of work speaks for itself. Just like I, talk about Eric Moulds and all the different coordinators, all the different coaches, all the different quarterbacks that had that Eric Moulds had to work with, and he still put up numbers. Tells me that that receiver could play with anyone, and he could still put up those type of numbers. So imagine what he could do with an actual franchise quarterback. And Eric Moulds never had that in his career. Drew Bledsoe, maybe one season, he had the whatever was left in the tank from Drew. And, Doug Flutie was Doug Flutie. I liked Doug Flutie, but he wasn't a franchise quarterback, but he got the best out of Flutie that year. So DJ Moore, 10 different starting quarterbacks, you know what I mean? 7 different head coaches, multiple OCs. That all matters, especially in football. Different scheme, different vision, different quarterbacks, how they like to throw the ball. Every quarterback's different, right? Building that chemistry. And for Moore to continue to put up those type of numbers, it tells you everything you need to know about what you're getting in DJ Moore. So it's not about hype. It's about what the body of work, what he accomplished, and what he had to deal with and work with. I've seen enough DJ Moore highlights, film breakdown to know that DJ Moore is the real deal. He's a very good receiver. He is a quality one, well-rounded as you can get. So is he on the tier 1 level of wide receivers ones? No. I get that. He's not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson. But once again, how many of those tier 1s are there? Just like when we talk about tier 1 quarterbacks, there's not a lot. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson. That's it. It's 4, right? Same thing with receivers. There's not a bunch of tier 1, elite receivers. But then there's a tier 2, which I put DJ Moore in. Absolutely, I do. He's deserved it. He's shown that he can be that guy. Bills need to bring back Diggs, and I wish they would. The problem is I don't know if Diggs wants to come back, and I don't know if Buffalo necessarily is wanting him back, which they should, right? If it's a cheap deal 1-year contract, because it's wherever he signs is going to be like a 1-year deal. Like, I'm going to tell you that right now. I'd be shocked if Stephon Diggs gets more than a 1-year deal. If he gets a 2-year deal, it'll be with like a 1-year out, right? Like, there's a reason why he didn't stay in New England, right? Like, he's turning into that kind of player, but I still feel like you can get something out of him. So I just don't know if the Bills are interested. And I don't know if he's interested in coming back with the Bills. So it sounds like he kind of wants to go to the Commanders, which is his hometown in Washington. So maybe he winds up there. I just don't see him back in Buffalo. But would I want him back? Would I welcome him back? Absolutely. DJ Moore put up numbers with PJ Walker. Yeah, exactly. And he put up numbers with what's the other guys? The guy that played for the Jets last year. He put up numbers with him too. Don't remember his name. Played for the Bears, remember? Before he played for the Jets. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. Not very good. Justin Fields. He also, I think he had over 1,000 yards with Justin Fields. So there's that. Moore's only 29. Yeah, 29 is fine. Like, people acting like that's old. The Bills running back led the NFL last year. We have Moore and Kincaid and Shakir plus Allen. Yeah, exactly. It's that ranking. What do we got to say about that ranking?
Get the fuck out of here.
Anyways, guys, 3 hours in, man, I'm done for tonight. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. It was a fun show. This is the worst part of the offseason. Not a lot to talk about, but I always try to come up with something cool, some articles that we can kind of piggyback off and talk about. And, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself tonight with me, man. And I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock will be part 2 of the Down and Drought series, 2014 Buffalo Bills. And then we only got a couple more to go after that, 2015 and 2016, the Rex Ryan years. Those are long episodes, by the way. Those are probably 3-hour episodes of the 2015-2016 season. So join me tomorrow. And by the way, if you guys do want to donate to the GoFundMe, there is a barcode up there. As you guys know, I'm, kind of having a tough time here with the move. So if you guys can donate, cool. If you can't, I understand. Just keep me in your thoughts and prayers. And Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.